Illinois this morning to honor a Chicago native who was killed in action in World War II. Governor Bruce Rauner's office asking that all U.S. and state flags be lowered in remembrance of Second Lieutenant Stephen Beezus until sunset this evening. Department of Defense announced earlier this month his remains had been ID'd after going missing in the 40s while serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. He's scheduled to be buried today at Arlington National Cemetery. A high school in Will County will be closing. Members of Lincoln Way High School District 210 voting last night to shut down Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort.
We've been hearing rumors since January that they were going to close the school, and just disappointing.
The board's decision was made in order to help resolve a $5.5 million budget deficit. University of Illinois Chancellor Phyllis Wise says she has submitted her resignation for a second time and declined an appointment to an advisory role reporting directly to President Timothy Killeen. Wise said in an email to reporters she's now talking to lawyers about next steps. Higher education experts like Dan King of the American Association of University Administrators say the University of Illinois' decision to fire Wise rather than accept her resignation and pay a bonus puts the school in a place where few have been before. Meantime, the University of Illinois President Timothy Killeen is asking trustees now to remove a $225,000 retention bonus from his contract. The Illinois Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in November on Chicago's year-old pension law. Orders entered yesterday set an expedited schedule with briefs due over the next 3 months. Cubs beat Milwaukee 3-2 in 10. Kyle Schwarber with 2 home runs, driving in 4. Ryan Tannehill picked apart a rebuilt Bears defense, throwing for a touchdown on the game's opening drive. Miami led into the second half before the reserves kicked in big time, picking up a Bears win over the Dolphins 27-10. Dustin Johnson carries a 1-stroke lead into round 2 of the PGA Championship just up the coast at Whistling Straits. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 5:04 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Money. It affects every part of your life. Whether it's saving for college for your kids, saving for retirement for yourself, or just finding a way to get out of debt. But do you really have a strategy to make the most of your money?
Someone tell people this is going to happen. It's called life.
Listen to the Dave Ramsey Show to learn practical tools for managing and growing your money.
You have to think.
Tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Springfield has become a machine that has empowered and enriched a handful of career politicians at the expense of the hardworking men and women of Illinois. We can't continue to send politicians to Springfield and expect things to change. We need someone with courage, someone with principles, someone willing to take a stand and fight for the people of Illinois.
I'm Paul Sirwatka. As a father of 4, I have real concerns about the direction of our state and what the future holds for our children. Our representatives in Springfield have failed us. For decades now, they knew the issues we faced, and out of fear, neglect, or self-serving interest, they refused to make the critical decisions necessary to address them. As a former firefighter-paramedic, and in my service as a village trustee, I've proven my commitment to make the kinds of tough decisions needed to get Illinois out of the grips of the machine. This is our state. This is our home. Now is the time to take back Illinois.
Visit paulsirwatka.com and join the fight to take back our state. Paid for by Take Back Illinois with Paul Sirwatka.
Our time is 5:06. Let's get an update on the roads now. ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center time. And good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good Friday morning, Mike. On the outbound Stevenson, there's a bit of a residual delay at LaGrange Road at the Tri-State after some overnight road construction. Just about a 2-minute delay, and things are starting to loosen up there. Westbound Adams Tollway at Gulf Road, the right lane is closed with overnight work. There were some full lane closures during the early morning hours. Those have wrapped up. Elsewhere, overnight work is pretty much gone. On the Indiana Toll Road, westbound, the ramp to 8094 is set to reopen later this morning at 9 a.m. The ramp's been shut down for almost 2 years. Traffic is a service of Think It Up. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. More humid with a high of 90. A shower or thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with a low 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Updated temperatures, 67 O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Water temp at 72 this morning. Your next news update is at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
To the race for president now, which for the next 10 days is turning Iowa into the center of the political universe. Nearly every candidate is scheduled to appear at the state fair there, and the ones getting some of the biggest buzz hail from far outside the Beltway.
And welcome to the first day of the Iowa State Fair.
Trump is just entertaining as hell, and he comes in and he acts like he's just gonna, be a wrecking ball to government as usual.
I think people are just tired of not getting anything done in Washington.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So how about that sporting event last night?
Oh, yeah. The Bears game?
Did you root for the home team?
I was really hoping that Robbie Gould would kick a field goal, and he did, and then they scored, 27-10?
27-10 victory.
Yeah.
The Bears.
Ooh, did you watch?
No.
You didn't even have it on as background noise in the household?
I had other matters to
tend
to.
Of course, you're probably saving the world, right?
Well, I was doing my part.
Yes,
I don't want to take all the credit.
Political theories and, yes, helping those.
Jay Cutler, 4-7 for 42 yards. You understand why he's the highest paid player in the NFL. Again, tour de force performance.
Well, he wasn't in that long.
No, I
to make a difference.
All cliches are true. Preseason doesn't mean anything. Except as it pertains to Jay Cutler. So enjoy that victory because I think you'll have about 5 victories in the regular season to enjoy.
No, I'm predicting 7. Do you want to make a bet? Oh, I love making bets with you because I think...
What's the bet?
I bet that they'll have 7 wins and you think that they'll have 5 wins for the entire season. I think they'll have 7.
I'll re-review the schedule and come up with my final number during the break.
And
then we'll
bring
bet.
it. Let's go.
5 and 7. That's not exactly a great bet. We're kind of basically in the same camp that it's going to be a terrible playoff missing season as usual. Of course, the big sports news. Everybody following. Dustin Johnson leads Dustin Johnson leads the first round. He's leader in the clubhouse after the first round. The PGA, which is up at Whistling Straits in Kohler, just a stone's throw.
Well, why don't you go?
I got.
You got things to do. Oh, you have lives to save. That's right.
Dustin Johnson's going to fade in the.
Well, and Tiger Woods
Sunday,
is
like
already
he always does in a major.
Sharded himself, right? Tiger Woods is out.
Yeah. Tiger Woods. He's not really a professional golfer so much anymore.
No,
it's kind of like
a sideshow.
It's kind of like when Joe Louis was the concierge at the Caesars after his boxing career. He's kind of like there to welcome people, to bring the crowds in. Everybody wants to talk to Joe Louis. He had a great career. And it was, it was a little bit sad to see him at Caesars, but it was nice to see him out there. It's kind of like Tiger. Sad to see that his career's over, but it's nice to see him still show up to the golf course, shake some hands, go out and hit some balls, interact with the public.
Meet some nice ladies.
Well,
he is single now. He's on the prowl, yes.
Yeah, he can't seem to hang on to a lady. I don't know why.
He can't hang on to his golf game either. Go back to what you were doing if it helps your golf game. I don't care. You're not married now. Go have fun. Go nuts, buddy.
Yeah, it's over. It's also over for Al Gore.
Okay, please. I thought it was a joke this morning when I saw that.
Inventor of the internet, considering running for president again. No, according to associates of Al Gore, I assume that means Larry Page and Sergey Brin, since they made him a multi-millionaire over at Google. Associates for Al Gore say, don't believe the 2016 whispers. He is too large and addled to run for president.
They didn't say that.
I'm interpreting why he's not running.
Well, what I heard this morning on ABC at 3 a.m. that former groups and aides are exploring a possible run.
Mm-hmm.
And they led the news, and then I fell out of bed and I said, what is going on?
Wow. Well, if you have that sound effect in your bedroom, I can see why you fell out of bed.
It was really loud.
Al Gore, I think some of my fillings are loose.
Are my eardrums bleeding, Dan? Look, is it...
So a Gore associate told CNN that the speculation about him potentially running for office was groundless.
Oh.
A spokesman for Gore said yesterday, after this rumor circulated, there was no truth to the idea he's considering a White House run. But it does speak to how
desperate the Democrats are right now.
How weakened Hillary is.
Ooh.
How weakened Hillary is. This from the Washington Times yesterday. A new survey finds a majority of Americans believe that a criminal investigation of Hillary's emails is appropriate. So not exactly rallying to her defense. I mean, again, this is not surprising since almost 60% of Americans do not find her trustworthy. So that is a substantial problem, although she still enjoys, kind of majority support, actually supermajority support among Democrats. So she's still in a pretty strong position for the primary to be the nominee, which is great.
Uh-huh.
I'm very happy about that. I don't want her to get arrested until after she's the nominee.
Well, we're learning this morning that the server that was allegedly at her house, where she and Bill allegedly live in upstate New York, was actually turned over to a company in New Jersey right after she left the State Department. So even that was a lie. She kept saying that, it's the server's at our house. It wasn't. And when they looked at the server, it was wiped clean.
Yeah, and why did Hillary keep the server if it was stored in a New Jersey data center
But she
and
told us
blank?
it was at her house.
Yeah, but we're going so where it is. Why do you keep it if it's blank? Maybe it's been blanked recently.
But remember what she said March 10th, and I need to play this because this is just such a hypocritical statement of her saying, March 10th, you're not going to touch my server. Get your hands off my dang server.
The server contains personal communications from my husband and me, and I believe I have met all of my responsibilities, and the server will remain private.
Yeah, well, it didn't remain private, but somehow it was wiped clean. So congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know that this is from the Inspector General of the National Intelligence Community, Charles McCullough, told members, he told members of Congress in writing, just to remind everyone, that at least two of the emails were so sensitive that would have been in question, that it would have been illegal to show them to any foreigner. Illegal at the time. So this excuse that she keeps giving about nothing that was classified at the time she was communicating it, not true, according to the Inspector General, and that has yet to be challenged directly. She just keeps issuing blanket statements through her campaign flags that nothing at the time. Well, that just simply doesn't square with the Inspector General's report, and it's probably why the FBI is investigating. And then there's this. Security experts say that if Hillary Clinton retained her government security clearance when she left the State Department, as is normal practice, it should be suspended now that it's known her unprotected private email server contained top secret material. Retired Army Lieutenant General William Boykin, Deputy Undersecretary of Defense in the Bush administration, standard procedure is that when there's evidence of a security breach, the clearance of the individual is suspended in many, but not all cases. This rises to the level of requiring a suspension. So that would be another story if her security clearance subsequently gets suspended, which I think it's fair to argue it should. And wait, there's more.
But there's new information about those top secret emails. Do you want me to, may I?
Go ahead.
One of those two top secret emails that is being reported this morning, that one was about U.S. drone attacks.
Right.
And that's, completely opposite of, again, what she said last month about what is in those emails.
I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
And that is a complete lie.
And then we are getting some more insight into why she retained this Platte River Networks IT company in Denver.
Wait, let me guess. Did they donate tens of thousands of dollars to the Clinton Foundation?
No, but they're kind of equally competent and perhaps equally ethical. They're the subject of a lawsuit by T2 Communications, which is T as in Tom, 2. T. Wait, I don't
just
even.
Like you said, a Bico.
Oh.
Anyway, all right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
All right, come on. We'll do a Beagle later. T2 Communications. Platte River Networks is said to have illegally accessed the master database for all U.S. phone numbers.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you can see why they threw in, or Hillary threw in with Platte River Networks. It also seized 390 lines in a move that created chaos across the U.S. government. Among the phone numbers which the company took, which all suddenly stopped working, were the lines for White House military support desks, the Department of Defense, and the Department of Energy. So says this lawsuit that T2 Communications has filed against Platte River Networks, claiming that Platte River Networks owes them $360,000 in compensation for the illicit seizure of these phone numbers that T2 Communications owned. I mean, this is it's just like there's just like this, the cloud of dirt and chaos that follows the Clintons everywhere they go, and they enlist people that are similarly inclined to wreak havoc at somebody else's expense. It's just incredible. So we will continue to follow the story through Hillary Clinton's arrest and indictment, her trial, her conviction, sentencing.
I'll find out what the best prison is for her. Thank you. That'll be my job responsibility.
You can visit her in prison. You can be our Hillary correspondent, live from Folsom Prison correspondent.
Oh, God, take me away.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Warm and humid weekend in shape for us this time today. It's going to be a high of 90 degrees, 72 degrees right now at O'Hare. We do have a chance of a thunderstorm early this evening. Then tomorrow, Saturday, partly sunny, hot and humid for the Arlington Million or the Crosstown Classic or the Air and Water Show. And on Sunday, plenty of hot and humid conditions continue. We'll have sunshine, a high of 91. Let's get the travel times and see how the outbound Stevenson's shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good Friday morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Outbound Stevenson looking great now. We had some slow pockets there just a few minutes ago, but it's clearing up now between LaGrange Road and the Tri-State. So Stevenson is good in both directions. Inbound Ryan getting a little heavy now, approaching downtown. It's that time of the morning. No more than a 1-minute delay. Aidens, Kennedy, Eisenhower, all fine. So are the other expressways and tollways at the moment. In Bridgeview, the traffic lights are out at 75th and Harlem, so careful there. At 9 a.m., the ramp from the Indiana Toll Road westbound to 8094 scheduled to reopen months ahead of schedule. That ramp's been shut down for almost 2 years. I'm Jim Talamonte in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I can tolerate a lot of things. I tolerate the annoying way my son-in-law Tom says schedule. I tolerate my buddy's weird snort laugh. I even tolerate my neighbor who hasn't returned my tools. I'm looking at you, Mike. I can see my wrench from here. But as I've gotten older, the one thing I can't tolerate is risk surrounding my retirement. I'm not about to risk missing out on the things I've always wanted to do, or worse yet, risk having to go back to work. I need to do everything I can to make sure that my financial plan stays the course. I won't tolerate anything less than that.
At the mutual fund store, we understand that every investor is unique and has different levels of risk they can tolerate. Let us help you find an investing strategy that fits your needs and comfort level. Schedule a free portfolio review with us today.
Hi, I'm Doug Bash with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
As a parent, nothing fills you with pride more than your child excelling at something that they love. For some kids, it's sports. For others, maybe photography. At Center Stage in Bloomingdale, it's dance. Children of all ages have loved and embraced dance at Center Stage Dance Studio for years. The Daily Herald recognizes year after year the benefit that dance classes provide youths. From 2-year-olds to competitive dancers, classes exist for all styles and expressions. Tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical, even hip-hop. Dancer Magazine voted Center Stage as one of the best dance studios in America. Register for fall classes today by calling 630-529-9080 or check out some pictures and an abundance of useful information at CenterStageDanceOnline.com. Find out how dance can fit into your child's life. Call 630-529-9080 or visit CenterStageDanceOnline.com. Center Stage Dance Studio is a proud supporter of AM 560's Feed the Children. Summer is here, and your business can't afford mechanical issues with its HVAC system. You also don't want just anyone doing the job. When you want the best trained and skilled team, you want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading full-service mechanical HVAC and refrigeration provider. Each year, Air Comfort invests in ongoing staff training to keep up with changes in technology and products. Why is training so important? Because Air Comfort understands that doing the job the right way the first time is just the beginning of a long-term relationship with its clients. That's why Air Comfort is a proud supporter of the UA Standard of Excellence and is certified as a star contractor by MSCA. With more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby to serve your HVAC needs. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has earned the trust of thousands of customers with businesses just like yours. To find out more, call 708-345-1900 or visit them online at aircomfort.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. And so Sideshow Donald, you've been having a hard time, some people are having a hard time understanding what he's doing, explaining it. Is it real? Walter,
it's real.
he's got the support of noted meth dealer Walter White.
Oh, yeah.
Bryan Cranston telling Chris Hardwick on his show, The Nerdist, that I actually like his candor. Talking about Trump calling his opponents losers and idiots. There's something so refreshing about shaking up that world that is all about being handled. And here comes this loose cannon who has terrible ideas and would be a horrible president. But there's something about his I don't give a attitude that really keeps others honest. I think it's a surprise benefit to the country, actually. I hope he stays in for a long, long time and just collapses that whole tent of his. That's what Walter White, a.k.a. Bryan Cranston, had to say. But someone that may have a more informed opinion of Donald Trump, one Omarosa.
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah.
She wasn't she the second winner of Celebrity Apprentice?
She wasn't celebrity, right? She was just the apprentice.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
She was
sorry,
a
not
celebrity.
Celebrity. Just The Apprentice. She was the second winner because the first one was Bill Rancic.
And wasn't, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
he's nice. I see him at the gym with his wife, and I suggest she have a ham sandwich or something. Whew.
Yeah.
Girlfriend needs to eat.
Omarosa, she was kind of like Trumpish, wasn't she? Wasn't she kind of nasty and overbearing?
Yeah. I never knew if it was for show or if it was for, she was married to Michael Clark.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark
That's
Duncan.
That's right. I forgot about that. May he rest in peace.
I loved
him. And with Mr. Bojangles, too. May he rest in peace. So Omarosa explains that Trump is a bright guy who knows how to adapt to his environment. He's playing into the celebrity feud culture that helped build his brand. Yes, it's an act, but that's Trump. As I said before, it's nice to get confirmation from one Omarosa. The only person who doesn't seriously think he's running for president among Trump supporters is Trump.
Really?
That's what I believe. But she thinks that it's an act. But look out when he starts putting together a platform and hones his message. People will stop questioning whether or not he's serious. No, they won't. And she believes that he can absolutely, definitely, without question, win the Republican nomination. So she's about as intellectually consistent as Donald Trump. On the one hand, she thinks it's all a big act. And on the other hand, she's taking him seriously and thinks has a chance to win the Republican nomination. Yeah. Glad I don't watch Apprentice or Celebrity Apprentice or any of the apprentices. And then the other thing is, have you seen these black ladies that kind of gone viral with their support of Trump?
Yeah, I saw him on with Don Lemon. He had the sister. You mean the sisters?
The black sisters.
Yeah.
Sisters.
It's a sister.
Yes.
Yeah, they were on with Don.
Don
Lemon. He seemed kind of annoyed by them, or he was just looking at them very peculiarly, going,
Well,
what is What is this?
Well, they're certainly more entertaining than the Black Lives Matter agitators, and they're at least as entertaining as Donald Trump. And here they are making the case that Donald Trump, you know what he does? He gives hope to black lives.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
So I'm here just talking to my African American brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Now listen, I see your frustration
Yeah.
and I can feel your pain.
Yeah.
But we can
What
no
she
longer
said.
take and parade the narrative Black Lives Matter
That's right.
in front of people when we don't feel like our own lives matter. When we take and we burn down our neighborhoods.
Yes.
When we take and we kill our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
When we rob from them.
Yes.
When we do destructive things, what we're telling people
Yes.
is we don't care about our own lives.
Yep.
And sometimes that's why people can't care about us.
That's right.
Now, what I want you all to do is to take that energy
Yes.
and channel it behind someone
Yes.
that I know that care about all lives.
Yes.
And that's Mr. Donald Trump.
Okay. Do you think he paid them to go public with this little
No.
shtick that they're
Well,
doing?
I mean, it's better than the Obama girl. Remember the Obama girl or the McCain girl?
Do you think he ever hooked up with her?
Yeah. Michelle
would.
Michelle keeps his personals in her purse. I don't think so, my friend. Here's the question I have though about the Trump sisters.
Mhm.
Will the one doing all the talking be his running mate, or the one just saying, "Yeah, you go, girl"?
I like the you go girl one.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of like the 21st century version of Ed McMahon.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Merlin presents Conversations with Your Air Conditioner.
It's like 400 degrees. You've been hibernating like a bear all winter long. And now all you can do is blow hot air in my face?
Instead of talking to your air conditioner, talk to the air conditioning experts at Merlin 200,000 Mile Shops. They've got air conditioning down cold. They're trained and certified to know if you need to replace a fuse, recharge your system, or replace your compressor.
You should be ashamed to call yourself an air conditioner.
The time to start a conversation with the people at Merlin is before yelling at your dashboard.
That's it. I'm putting you in a timeout, mister.
Don't talk to your air conditioner. Talk to the air conditioning experts at Merlin 200,000 Mile Shops. At Merlin, more life for you and your car.
Merlin can have your AC running fresh from the factory cold. Stop in for an air conditioning inspection for just $29. Find shop locations or make an appointment at merlins.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I came in like a rocket.
Wow. You really need to work on your head voice.
Yeah.
You need to project more, first of all.
I'm
and
not-
use your diaphragm.
I'm not good singing that song unless I'm in Miley Cyrus garb.
Make it on a ball.
I've got too much clothes on. Coming up, we've got a column by a friend of the show, Krista McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, that's generating a lot of reaction. Does Chicago need a Katrina, figuratively, to reform its schools? And was her column racist? We'll ask and answer that question at 5:37.
And then Sesame Street learns a new alphabet, and it's HBO. We'll explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 72 degrees outside, sticky conditions, humidity up over 80% at this half hour. The Greek bailout agreement tops the agenda of today's Eurozone finance ministers in Brussels, now that the parliament in Greece has approved that $93 billion austerity-laden deal. A man free on bail on an attempted murder charge is among 2 arrested in Bangladesh in the killing of a secular blogger on the fourth such deadly attack this year. The rescue effort following a massive, deadly explosion in the Chinese port city of Tianjin is moving ahead cautiously. 50 died in the blast. A firefighter has been rescued after being trapped for more than 32 hours. The U.S. flag will soon fly over the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba. There'll be a ceremony this morning. Secretary of State John Kerry will attend. A man dead after being struck by a roller coaster when he entered a restricted area of the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio. Phil Frost is the Assistant Chief of Police in Sandusky.
Mr. Young had rode the Raptor roller coaster and while riding the ride, lost some of his personal belongings. After completing the ride, Mr. Young decided to retrieve these items. He jumped over a fence into a restricted area under the Raptor.
And it's there the elementary school teacher was struck and killed. Oil prices are lower than they have been for a very long time. Crude futures on the New York Mercantile Exchange fell to a 6.5-year low, sliding below $41.35 a barrel. Oddly, here in the Midwest, prices spiked due to refinery problems at BP's facility this week. General Motors is recalling more than 73,000 Chevy Cobalt small cars in the U.S. and Canada. Improper wiring could prevent the roof-mounted driver's side airbag from deploying. Here locally, a mediator is being brought in as negotiations continue between the Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union. A high school in Will County will be shut down. Members of the Lincoln Way School Board 210 voted last night to shut down Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort after the upcoming school year. Bears winners in the NFL preseason over the Dolphins, 27-10. Cubs beat Milwaukee 3-2 in 10 innings. The news a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The 1-year anniversary of what? A young thug got shot and killed.
The Joe Walsh Show.
A year later, we're honoring him. A year later, Ferguson again is burning. Ferguson is looting, shooting at police officers. We've learned nothing. We've learned absolutely nothing in a year.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cabela's Fall Great Outdoor Days are going on now. Spend $150 and get $25 in Cabela's Bucks, good towards your next purchase. See store for details. Hurry into a Cabela's nearest you.
I'm Jay Farner with some great news on how you could save an average of $3,000 per year on your mortgage. Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. The HARP guidelines have changed. There's less paperwork and often no appraisal required. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. Or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equalizing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is John Greenhut. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
5:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're now seeing some mild delays on some of the expressways. Inbound Stevenson, a little slow. Pulaski to Kedzie, just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Inbound Ryan, you've got a 3 or 4 minute delay from Cermak to the Burn Circle in downtown Chicago. Inbound Bishop Ford, little heavy Cottage Grove to the merge, about a 1 minute delay there. Westbound Adams Tollway at Gulf Road, the right lane is closed with overnight work till 6 this morning. You'll have baseball traffic this afternoon on the south side with Cubs and Sox opening a series. Air and Water Show this weekend. Taylor Street is closed in the near west side area. This is for Festa Italiana. Taylor Street's blocked off between Racine and Ashland. Traffic service of Think It Up. traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
So everybody's heading to Grandma Carm's this weekend for some Italian ice before it shuts down. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast, a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny and breezy today, a warm afternoon ahead, 86, partly cloudy and 69 overnight, 88. More humid and clouds and sun for tomorrow. 70 officially at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So this piece that was posted in the Tribune yesterday by Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago, New Orleans, and Rebirth. Racist? 312-642-5600. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro. Text line.
You're about to give out your cell phone number.
You can have it if you want. You can call me on. You can text me on that too, or call me. I'll take calls wherever they come in.
Okay, Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. 312.
I'm going to Lindsey Graham you.
446-6488. Why?
We don't want people to call you on your cell phone.
Doesn't bother me. Good luck.
It bothers you when they start calling you in droves and they don't leave you alone.
No.
Trust me.
No, they'll leave me alone. If I want to be left alone, they will leave me alone.
Okay, so 312-642-5600. Is this article racist?
And so here's the piece, and
I have not read it, so I'm going to come in with an open mind, and I'll let you know if I think it's racist.
Oh, great. Radio Verite. It should be noted that Kristen has gotten a lot of reaction to this, including a lot of ugly, ignorant reaction, like death threats. Listen to this. She writes, envy is an irrational response to the upcoming 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. But with August 29th fast approaching and New Orleans Mayor Mitchell Andrew making the media rounds, including at the Tribune Ed Board, I find myself wishing for a storm in Chicago, an unpredictable, haughty, devastating swirl of fury, a dramatic levee break, geysers busting through manhole covers, a sleeping city forced on the rooftops. That's what it took to hit the reset button in New Orleans. Chaos, tragedy, heartbreak.
And death. But, okay, go on.
Residents overthrew a corrupt government. A new mayor slashed the city budget, forced unpaid furloughs, cut positions, detonated labor contracts. New Orleans City Hall got leaner and more efficient. Dilapidated buildings were torn down. Public housing got rebuilt. Governments were consolidated. And an underperforming school system saw a complete makeover. Hurricane Katrina gave a great American city a rebirth. After a careful study of the levees, it turns out the devastation was not born of natural disaster. It was man-made. The same could be said of Chicago. She goes on. This weekend is the Chicago Air and Water Show. Thousands of people will stream to Chicago's lakefront to marvel at the city and its offerings. All five senses satiated. Visitors will clamp their palms on the ears to tame the vibration. They will gasp at the stunning skyline. They will taste the sand-swept breeze. They will feel the sun's touch. They will smell the engine fuel. They will delight. Chicago is so good at hiding its rot. This is an excellent piece, and it is, in terms of kind of the courage quotient, it turns out to be completely true, and also.
But Katrina still, New Orleans still has a lot of problems. I know people that went down there over their spring break with Habitat for Humanity and built homes, and the Ninth Ward down there is still not back up and running.
Okay, Jimmy Carter. Well, that's why I find myself praying for a storm. Okay, a figurative storm. Something that will prompt a rebirth in Chicago. I can relate metaphorically to the residents of New Orleans climbing on the rooftops and begging for help and waving their arms and lurching toward rescue helicopters. Except here, no one responds to the SOS messages painted boldly in the sky. Indeed, they double down on their own man-made disaster. Obviously, she's not talking about, how many people died in Katrina, a little under 1,000. Yeah. She's not talking about death. It's a metaphor. And frankly, what she has written here is something that a lot of people have discussed, including myself privately, that is going to take some virtual act of God. because the political will does not exist in the city of Chicago to deal with the rot that bubbles just below the surface of the city center. And that's what McQueary is talking about. The financial challenges, the awful school system, and the utter indifference to these burgeoning crises such that they're forcing people out of Chicago or otherwise capturing people who can't leave. That's what she's talking about. 312-642-5600. Your thoughts on her column. And the response, because essentially she's pulling back the curtain, is death threats. God. Really? This is what has become of the city of Chicago, where people rationalize their own kind of conspiring with political hacks, craven political hacks like Tiny Dancer and the other munchkin before him who've destroyed this city's financial stability. And you can look at a few wards. I get it. And you can go down Bull Mish, and you can go to the lakefront, and it's all very wonderful, isn't it? Just like the planters in the middle of Michigan Avenue. But
love those, by the way.
Yeah, but
and Ashland Avenue too. Now Irving Park.
Right,
and even the South Side too.
And meanwhile, 360,000 of 400,000 kids in CPS are relegated to schools that we know won't educate them, and people are being forced out of their homes. And people's pensions are on the chopping block, whether the public sector unions want to recognize it and deal with it or not. And as she said, man-made disasters. We've inflicted all of this damage on ourselves, and we are cheerleaders for the man-made disaster, and frankly, defenders of.
Well, it's so strange. The murder rate in New Orleans has dropped in half since Hurricane Katrina. Crime is down overall since Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm. And so, we haven't even talked about violent crime.
No.
That's a whole nother issue.
How did that happen? Once the poor leadership was run out and arrested, or
it's a combination. You rebuild a city, and importantly, you rebuild the school system. This is what she's really getting at: is the school system. How do you deal with a system that is bankrupt financially, morally, and in every other possible way? And that's the Chicago public school system. How do you deal with it? Or do we see anybody advancing structural change? You think lengthening the school day by 45 minutes is structural change? That's profound rethinking of how we do K through 12 education in Chicago? Obviously it's not. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. And that's what she's calling out. And she's going to take a lot of heat for it, just as she took a lot of heat when she called out Mayor Emanuel being arrogant without portfolio. Mm-hmm. And David Axelrod had to ride to Tiny Dancer's defense, and they all, got up on their high horses, to borrow an Obama-ism, when it comes to anybody who dare question or suggest that what happens on their watch in any way relates to their policy choices or their lack of making policy choices. I don't know.
Did people email her, text her? How is she getting death threats?
It's immaterial. Okay. The fact is that that's the response. And I think she feels like she needs to lie low now for the next couple of days because of this piece. This piece is that incendiary. We need safe places in Chicago. Chicago's become one big college campus. We need safe places from words that may hurt our feelings. Is that really where we're going? And where's the leadership? But she also, where's the leadership on that as well? But she also points out, just think about the borrowing, all the stuff that wasn't done. The city borrowed $900 million last year, another $1.1 billion in June. Tiny Dancer planning on borrowing yet another $500 million currently. And one city council member who took their seat, only one of the freshmen voted against the borrowing, Carlos Ramirez Rosa in the 35th Ward, who said he couldn't in good conscience vote for more borrowing when the city has no long-term plan to correct its financial spiral. 1 out of 50 aldermen.
Do you think he's going to have a spot next time around? Because I know that Mayor Emanuel cannot stand Scott Waspak because he can't control him. So at one point in time, they're thinking about redistricting his ward to get him out of there. It's either conform or die in this city. So kudos to her for writing this article. And I know that she's using Hurricane Katrina as a metaphor for something to come in and, start anew. get rid of the bad and start fresh.
No one should be getting death threats.
No.
Okay, but if death threats are going to be directed to anyone, they should be the public sector union bosses and the corporate C-suite execs and the political ruling class that she's describing. That's who you should be looking to, and that's who you should be threatening or at least be directing your ire towards, not somebody describing the reality on the ground.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Move over, Tony Soprano. Big Bird's coming to HBO. We'll explain, but first, here's your forecast. Warm and humid for the next 3 days. Today we'll hit a high of 90 degrees and a possible shower or thunderstorm late this afternoon. Tomorrow for your Crosstown Classic, Cubs Sox game at 6 p.m. at the Cell. It will be partly sunny, hot and humid, a high of 90 degrees. And on Sunday, hot again with plenty of sunshine, a high of 91. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Lake in the Hills, there's a crash, 31 and Virginia. The expressway is fairly light so far. Inbound Eisenhower, just a little heavy past Manheim. Inbound Stevenson, you got a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Kedzie. The Ryan, 5-minute delay from the Stevenson into downtown Chicago. Bishop Ford, a 3-minute delay from 103rd to the Merge. Tollways are good. No delays. Shreveport and Northwest Indiana. Later this morning, the ramp from the westbound Indiana Toll Road to 94 and 8094. That ramp is set to reopen at 9 a.m. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center.
Hey, if you need to sell your home in Chicagoland, Sean Hannity here with some very important facts that you need to know. 40% of homes hitting the market in Chicago are not selling. Now, those are horrible odds. That's exactly why you need to call Saul Z and the Z team at Keller Williams, based right here in Chicagoland. Saul sells a home on average every 24 hours and attracts hundreds of buyers every month locally, nationally, and internationally. Recently, the Wall Street Journal ranked Saul's team in the top 110 teams out of 1.2 million agents in the U.S. Saul Z guarantees to sell your home in 29 days at a price and deadline that you agreed to, or he will buy your home or he'll sell it for free. Plus, working with Saul is also risk-free. After 24 hours, if he's not doing his job, you can walk away free and clear. Don't worry, you won't. Just call the agent I would call if I needed to sell my home and lived in Chicagoland. Call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666, or go online at callsaul.net. That's callsaul.net.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I have a very mild version of MS. I couldn't afford the medication from the doctor's office, and I thought, let's try to fight this a little different way. Since I've been on it, I've only had one episode.
So as soon as I got it, I took some. I normally take it in the morning, so just with that period of time, I'm definitely seeing improvement again. Really amazing. So I'm probably going to get my daughter on it.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
What puts your identity at risk? Did you swipe your debit card at the gas station? Identity thieves can place skimming devices on the payment terminals. Do you use public Wi-Fi? Identity thieves are known to set up shop around Wi-Fi hotspots, hoping to cash in on your personal information. Do any online banking? Go to the doctor? LifeLock reminds us that banks and health insurers are susceptible to breaches of your private information. But don't stop living your life. Get LifeLock Ultimate Plus Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock Ultimate Plus helps protect your social security number, bank and retirement accounts, credit cards, even the equity in your home. Obviously, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor transactions at every business, but you only have one identity. Protect it with the best. Enroll with LifeLock in minutes, and your protection starts immediately. Visit LifeLock.com now and use promo code AWARE, or call and mention AWARE to save 10% on your membership. Call 800-520-9106. 800-520-9106. 800-520-9106.
AM 560. The Answer.
Sing it, Dan. Ready?
Sunny day, thinking about clouds away. On my way to Miami.
guy's humming. Terrible.
Can you tell? Did you watch Sesame?
How to get to Sesame Street.
The letters of the day
No,
on
move
Sesame
on, kid.
Street are H, B, and O. I don't understand this one, but yesterday Sesame Workshop announced that they've struck a 5-year deal with HBO. So they're going to HBO is going to produce 35 new Sesame Street episodes a year, and then months later release it back to PBS.
Yeah.
Why the lifeline? I don't understand. I mean, Sesame Street's been around since for 45 years, almost a half century, and they're struggling financially. So are they just trying to help
HBO
do
needs
their part?
HBO needs more actors. So next season's A True Detective will feature Oscar the Grouch and Mr. Snuffleupagus. And frankly, they couldn't do any worse than Vince Vaughn and Rachel McAdams did in this season. I got to tell you.
Oh, well,
as much as I like Vince Vaughn, it just was rough.
It was bad. I didn't watch it.
Rough.
But you watch Game of Thrones, so is Big Bird or maybe is Elmo going to appear on Game of Thrones?
Elmo wrote his own song. What's it called? Elmo's song.
Is Tickle Me Elmo, is that still popular?
I still have mine. I mean, not mine. It's my child's.
Right.
Tickle Me Elmo. No,
Sure
it's not
it is.
mine. I mean, it's I
okay.
bought one.
I guess
when
that answers my question. It would be actually nice to do kind of a Game of Thrones Sesame Street where there's just kind of a bloodletting and really scar the little ones. Or, just teach them life is real.
Oh, really?
See Big Bird's head get chopped off. Feature, maybe, you know what? I got an idea.
Oh, what?
Walter Palmer.
What do you... Oh.
The Cecil the Lion Killer.
Nice fit.
Trophy hunting. The trophy hunting episode on Sesame Street.
Oh, Big Bird's a rare creature. That would be great. His head mounted on his top of his fireplace.
Well, so this
with
is
his friends around drinking scotch.
Yeah, I mean, so this of course this is drawn a backlash because it's premium pay TV, but this is a way to save Sesame Street so it doesn't get raised. So,
Here's
and it's going to be flushed back to PBS as you said. So what's the big deal?
Because I don't want to pay to have HBO and have Sesame Street on HBO.
It
doesn't fit, and I don't like change, okay?
Yes, right. And here's something that all those PBS supporters might want to consider. You already pay for Sesame Street.
Oh, that's right. My tax dollars go for abortions at Planned Parenthood and for Sesame Street on PBS. Thank you. Kevin Tibbles yesterday.
Now, that'd be an episode.
Thank you. Kevin Tibbles from NBC. Interviewed a 42-year-old man who, and listen, because this is quick, who had to say this about Sesame Street.
These were friends that I could go back to day after day.
Yeah, because he gets lonely.
These were friends that I could go back to day after day.
That was his only social intervention with Sesame Street growing up.
Yeah, I feel his pain, although I was more focused on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And, King Friday. I fashioned myself a member of King Friday's court.
I like Cookie Monster.
As for fans young and old, we all want the same thing.
I want cookies.
I want cookies.
Isn't that darling?
What do you suppose they call that? A novelty act?
I don't know, but it wasn't too bad.
Well, that's a novelty.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When flipping houses, there's one golden rule. Cash talks. I'm going to show you how you can easily get $10,000 plus all the cash you'll ever need for free. I'm Andrew Holmes, popular radio show host and founder of Chicago's #1 flipping team. And I've flipped over 600 houses in Chicago right under your nose. And now I'm going to show you how. I'm holding a free seminar right here in the Chicagoland area where I'll give a select few the opportunity to use my funding to flip houses and net up to $40,000 per deal without spending a dime of your own money. You don't need good credit and you don't need any of your own money. If the deal is good, you'll get the funds. The first 100 people to call 844-MONEY40 and register will receive my Blueprint to Real Estate Wealth System for free. All you have to do is find a great deal and pass it on to me and I'll give you $10,000. Time is running out. Seating is very limited. Call 844-MONEY40. That's 844-MONEY40.
Turnkey IT. For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM 560 business owners. It's a name that you've come to know and trust. These guys do it all, from on-site service calls and help desk to all-in networks. They have a plan that fits your company's technology needs. Want to move your business to the cloud? Turnkey can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Is having someone to call when you misplace a file or accidentally open that email with a virus important? Well, then Turnkey's got you covered. Time for all new equipment? With Turnkey's all-in plan, your business will have brand new equipment and the highest level of support you can find. You want to wipe your server clean? Well, then you have to call Hillary Clinton. But if you want professional and timely support from your IT company, Turnkey is prompt and responsive to support requests, shows up on time, and provides service even after normal business hours. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
The sounds of an accident. You or a loved one has been injured. Your mind is racing. What happened? Is everyone okay? What now?
I'm Dan Compton of Compton Law Group. We know that at a time like this, you want answers. More importantly, you want justice for what has taken place. If you or a loved one has been injured, please, before you sign something or talk to anyone, call Compton Law Group. This is our specialty, fighting for your rights, fighting for you, and making sure that justice is served. You can reach me at 847-742-6100. That's 847-742-6100. It's my job to make sure that you, your family, and your loved ones are protected and compensated properly. We handle nursing home accidents, car, truck, and motorcycle accidents, construction accidents, and medical malpractice.
When accidents happen, and they will happen, make sure you have Compton Law Group on your side. 847-742-6100 or online at ComptonLawGroup.net. When accidents happen, take the appropriate action with Compton Law Group.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Big Head Todd and the Monsters, G-Love and Special Sauce, and JJ Gray and Mofro. All live on the same night, same stage. Presented by Grand Victoria Casino. Saturday, August 22nd at Grand Victoria Casino in Elgin and Festival Park. Get tickets now at gvctickets.com. Don't miss Big Head Todd and the Monsters, G-Love and Special Sauce, and JJ Gray and Mofro. Part of GVC Summer Concert Series. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Carl schools Katie on climate change.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching right now. A mediator brought in the talks between CPS and CTU, and the board votes to close the Lincoln Way School. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. 3 Marines who took down the U.S. flag in Cuba 54 years ago will be back in Havana this morning. Mike East and the other 2 will help raise it again.
Yeah, I think about it every night now. See that flag go back up.
Fox News Radio's Evan Brown's live in Havana.
Dave, when the flag goes up later this morning here in Havana, it will mark a return of an official American presence in Cuba, something that many regular people here have been hoping they'd get to see. Walking around the capital, I've met friendly Cubans who tell me they're glad the Americans are back and that more should visit and that we should help them end the U.S. embargo, Dave.
Evan, they were up all night. Greek lawmakers have finally approved a bailout deal that'll give them $93 billion of much-needed cash, but they'll have to accept spending cuts and tax hikes that still needs European approval. We're learning more about some key messages in the probe into Hillary Clinton using private email while Secretary of State. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
2 of the White House hopefuls' emails were deemed top secret by an auditor and included a discussion of a news article detailing a U.S. drone operation and a separate conversation that could point back to highly classified material. The AP reports the emails were marked classified after consultations with the CIA, which is where the material originated. Meanwhile, there's another report that Clinton's server was wiped clean before it was handed over. The Washington Post reports data may have been migrated to another server, but the Democrats' campaign isn't commenting on that. Dave.
Rachel Clinton will go to the Iowa State Fair tomorrow, like so many other presidential candidates.
I am unbought and I am unbossed.
That was Democrat Jim Webb on the fair's famed soapbox yesterday. How far would you go to not lose your phone? A man at the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio was killed yesterday trying to get the phone he dropped while riding a roller coaster.
That ride's really fast, and that guy, he got knocked out.
James Young had gone into a secure, restricted area looking for the phone when he was hit by the coaster. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
73 degrees. Our time is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A mediator is being brought in as a next step in negotiations between the Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union. CPS CEO Forrest Claypool says the district is expected to ask that CTU begin paying the full share of its pension contributions. As the last union contract expired June 30th, mediation is a step that is needed before any strike can take place. A high school in Will County will be shutting down. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 Board voted last night to shut down Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort after the upcoming school year.
We've been hearing rumors since January that they were going to close the school, and just disappointing.
The decision was made in order to help resolve a $5.5 million budget deficit. Governor Bruce Rauner signs a law barring Illinois lawmakers from receiving a pay raise this year. Rauner signing that measure after the General Assembly officially voted to reject that increase that would have paid each member about $1,400 more per year. The Illinois Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in November on Chicago's year-old pension law. Orders entered Thursday set an expedited schedule with briefs expected over the next 3 months. Motorola Mobility says it's cutting 500 jobs at its Chicago headquarters, about a quarter of its workforce. Motorola Mobility spokesman William Moss says layoffs got underway yesterday and will continue over the next few weeks. Cook County State's Attorney's Office say they will not retry a man whose conviction for the murder and attempted rape of a Chicago woman was overturned last month after serving 27 years in prison. Prosecutor told Judge Alfredo Maldonado Thursday charges against 55-year-old Daniel Anderson were being dropped. Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2. Kyle Schwarber with 2 home runs, driving in 4. Ryan Tannehill in the first half picked apart a rebuilt Bears defense, throwing for a touchdown on the game's opening drive. But the Bears reserves rallied in the second half. They pound the Dolphins in the last 2 quarters for a 27-10 preseason victory. The news service of Cabela's. Cabela's Fall Great Outdoors Days are going on now. Spend $150 and get $25 in Cabela's bucks, good toward your next purchase. See store for details, and don't miss their biggest sale and event of the season, going on now at Cabela's. It is 6:04. Time to take comfort with Air Comfort, and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes Hillary Clinton has an uphill battle.
I don't think it's going to quite unfold the way Hillary wants, and I think it's going to be more difficult than she anticipates. Let's start with the fact and assume here for a minute that if she wins the Democratic nomination, she's going to be running now for a 3rd Democratic presidential term. She will be tied directly to the record of Obama.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
You're not crazy to start your own business, no matter what they say. We're GoDaddy.com, and we're just the team to help get your business online. Our Get Online Today toolkit gets you a memorable domain name, a professional website, and personalized email powered by Microsoft Office 365 for just $1 per month. Just $1 with the purchase of an annual plan. Get your business online today with the Get Online Today toolkit at GoDaddy.com/radio. That's GoDaddy.com/radio. Domain included with annual plan only. See site for details.
Eating uncontrollably during a binge. Eating far more than others would in a similar situation. Eating and then feeling terrible. Binging at least weekly for 3 months. Sound familiar?
Hi, I'm Monica Seles. I got to achieve my Grand Slam title, but off the tennis court, my binge eating was just uncontrollable. My doctor said it was binge eating disorder. There is hope.
Adults, get the full symptoms at bingeeatingdisorder.com. Then talk with your doctor.
Sponsored by Shire.
It is 6:06. Let's get an update on the roads now. ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is light so far this morning. We have no delays to report on the Edens or the Kennedy. Inbound Eisenhower, just a little slowing past Manheim. Inbound Stevenson, just a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan, it's slow from the Stevenson into the Burn Circle. 20 minutes O'Hare to from 95th to downtown. Outbound, it's fine at 15 minutes downtown to 95th. I-57, just a little heavy approach to Merge, Bishop Ford, about a 3-minute delay, 103rd of the Rhine. No delays to report on the tollways. Traffic is a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Deaf and blind, Helen Keller overcame her world of darkness. foresight. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
More humid today with clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 90. An evening shower or thunderstorm in spots, otherwise partly cloudy and humid tonight with a low 70. Hot and humid tomorrow with partial sunshine, high 90 and a low 71. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
73 at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront. It is 70 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Autumn Leaves Memory Care Communities, now open in Glen Ellen. Take a virtual tour at autumnleaves.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
To the race for president now, which for the next 10 days is turning Iowa into the center of the political universe. Nearly every candidate is scheduled to appear at the state fair there, and the ones getting some of the biggest buzz hail from far outside the Beltway.
And welcome to the first day of the Iowa State Fair.
Trump is just entertaining as hell, and he comes in and he acts like he's just going to, be a wrecking ball to government as usual.
I think people are just tired of not getting anything done in Washington.
When liberals say, I'm prepared for you to lose your job in the name of sending a signal to whom? China could care less. In fact, China is delighted that we are not spending any time or energy figuring out clean coal because they're going to go do it.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
What up, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So, Katie Couric, Amy, she's over there at Yahoo, right? Making obscene amounts of money. Good for her. I mean, if you can pull off this scam as long as she has and make millions doing it, then, God bless you, I suppose. She's been interviewing the Republican presidential candidates. She had an interview most recently before the one I'm about to submit. She had one with Ted Cruz where they covered a range of issues, including climate change. Here's Katie Couric discussing climate change with one Senator Ted Cruz from Texas.
Every candidate is going to tell the voters that they're super duper conservative. That's what they say. You don't get any candidate that ever goes in front of primary voters and says, I'm an establishment moderate. I don't stand for anything. I just go along to get along. They don't say that.
Yeah, that was a little slice of Ted Cruz and Katie Couric. But on the issue of climate change, it was addressed in the first interview that she did with Cruz. It was addressed in her interview with Carly the other day. She presses this issue, and this is why. Listen to the quality of Carly's answers. This is why she's shooting up in the polls after her debate performance last week.
What's your position on climate change?
Well, I think we have to read all the fine print. So every one of the scientists that tell us that climate change is real and being caused by man-made activity also tell us that a single nation acting alone can make no difference at all. So when I see a state like California destroy lives and livelihoods with environmental regulation that will make no difference at all to climate change, when I see the Obama administration take that same regulation and apply it nationally, it will make no difference at all, and yet we're destroying people's lives and livelihoods. I wonder, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this when it won't have any impact? So I think the answer to this problem is innovation, not regulation. But I must say it angers me when liberals say, I'm prepared for you to lose your job in the name of sending a signal to whom? China could care less. In fact, China is delighted that we are not spending any time or energy figuring out clean coal because they're going to go do it.
Gosh, she's so assertive and she's so on target and she's so poised. I love her.
Well, here's what she does that few candidates do, few people do, and almost no one on the other side of that interview, the interviewer, Katie Couric. What's your position on climate change? Isn't it a big issue? That's the depth of Katie Couric's questions because it's reflective of the depth of her knowledge or intellectual curiosity. Here's the short argument that Carly Fiorina offered and it's one which connects the dots. Okay, you say this. Oh, well, you also say that. So one thing implicates the other. The short version is, if the scientific consensus is that man-made climate change is real, then there is also consensus that America acting alone can't stop it. So why should we, act in a preemptive fashion if we're to believe the foundation of your own argument, climate alarmists? It's a brilliant way to turn the issue back on Katie Couric. That's an ancillary issue, but really to turn the argument back on those purveyors of climate alarmism.
So all the liberals think that climate change is mostly due to human activity, and conservatives aren't buying into climate change, or we realize that there is climate change, but it's not due to human activity.
Well, first of all, it's not a conservative liberal issue if you're going to follow the science, if you're going to follow the evidence. It's a liberal issue in the sense that the big government left wants to use this as a predicate for big government because that's their business. That's the issue.
And that's why they're pushing all this renewable alternative sources of energy, the windmills and
no. Well, to some extent, the subsidizing that is a secondary issue. It's control. It's not energy independence. It's control. It's control over people. And if you control their energy sources, then you control commerce. That's what this is about. We have talked at length to Patrick Moore, a co-founder of Greenpeace, about the science. These canards that are offered up by Katie Couric because they've never bothered to read any scholarship on the issue about this alleged scientific consensus. It turns out there is no such thing as scientific consensus on this. The 95% of climatologists agree is one cooked up study that has since been debunked. In addition to that, science isn't built on consensus. It's built on the scientific method and putting together arguments based on experimentation and the gathering of evidence. That's what Katie Couric doesn't understand because she's just a mouthpiece for the left. But Carly Fiorina is different, and she's different as a candidate. I don't know how far she can go, but she's an important voice, not because she's a woman, not because she's a former Fortune 500 CEO, but because these discussions are critically important, and she is connecting dots to turn the onus back on the left to address what the evidence suggests, not simply boiling this down into your partisan bromide versus my partisan bromide. Carly goes on.
Well, I think we have to focus on innovation. We have to focus on innovation. So we have to focus on how to make coal cleaner. Look, coal provides half the energy in this nation still, not to mention around the world. So to say we're going to basically outlaw coal, which is what this administration has done, is so self-defeating. It destroys jobs, it destroys communities, it's not helping us, and it's not helping global warming. So let's get on with the innovation about how to make sure that we actually have clean coal technology. The Chinese will do it if we don't, and they are doing it.
Innovation, not regulation. Innovation, not regulation, focusing on the dynamism of a free economy. Let's go to Ralph and Mokina. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, it reminds me of a couple of things. There was a book that was written a long time ago, a couple decades, by Steve Allen called Dumps. And he a little bit talks about how just people are so ignorant and they accept the stupidity. They don't have any information. They don't have any knowledge. People really don't understand science now. Here, ponder this, though, all you windmill tilters out there.
Right.
Energy is transportable. We love those fuel tanks on our cars, and we hate it when they go empty. It's really hard to stick a sail on the tops of our cars. If portable energy like windmills are renewable, I don't even know how you renew wind, so you tell me that. But if energy were so easily transportable like fuel is in cars, we wouldn't be having ships and airplanes because they'd be stuck with sails. You know, the reason we don't have those on vehicles anymore is it's just plain stupid. We figured out centuries ago that that's a bad way to propel things.
Well, that's right. I mean, and the cost to deliver energy via windmill or
solar.
or switchgrass or solar as compared to fossil fuels is exponentially higher.
As long as we're on the windmill thing, okay, for all you windmill tilters out there, every gigawatt of windmill power that is built requires redundant gigawatt of standby generator power. Because guess what? When it's not windy, there's no power. So when you're sitting there sweating on your porch in your T-shirt and you think, God, I wish my air conditioner was on, it's because the frickin' windmill's not turning.
Hey, Ralph, air conditioning is sexist. You know that.
That's true. Sorry.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
Weren't windmills used to pump water from wells at the beginning? I mean, and now we're bringing it back. I mean, didn't we already try this windmill thing? Didn't the Dutch already corner this market?
Yeah, it's such a great innovation. The point is, the point is, if there's a market for windmills, not subsidized by taxpayers, but if there's and I don't favor subsidies for big oil or any other energy, any other portion of the energy sector, and that's actually where some environmentalists like Ed Begley Jr., who's a leftist, actually he's one of the few that's intellectually consistent. Look, right, I agree with you. No subsidies for big oil, but no subsidies for anything else either. Let's innovate. And let's see what the market will bear in terms of alternative energies. Nobody's opposed to alternative energies. Nobody's opposed to environmental stewardship. They're opposed to this junk science. By the way, a text from 708. Sorry, Dan, it's a play on words. Carly said no one country, not the U.S., which is large enough to make a difference. I think actually 708, you're engaged in a play on words. If no one country can make a difference, then that would include the U.S. because it's a country. This is why it's so difficult to make progress on these issues.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Big weekend here in Chicago, Aaron Waters show. We also have the Crosstown Classic at the Cell and Arlington. Yeah, go Cubs, and the Arlington Million on Saturday. So here's your forecast. Today it's going to be hot and sticky. We're going to have mostly sunny skies, but we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. High of 90 degrees. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. Saturday, partly sunny, hot and humid, a high of 90, and more of the same on Sunday, but even a little bit warmer, a high of 92. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. So far, traffic is very light. If you're going to be out and about, now's a good time. Aiden's, Kennedy, delay-free. Eisenhower, just a little heavy past Manheim. The Stevenson is light, but we just had a crash reported inbound at Harlem. So that may jam things up a bit. Right now, it's just a 2-minute delay from Cicero to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan, a 5-minute delay from the Stevenson to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, pretty light, just a little heavy approaching the Ryan. No significant delays to report yet on the tollways. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Stand by. Now more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your house is one of the most important decisions you can make. And Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals, knows what it takes to sell your home. The Wall Street Journal ranked him at 88th in the entire country for closed listings. Ed knows that there are no gimmicks to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful. Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 realtor in Will County. Now, you can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that RE/MAX Professionals has to sell it. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then there's something seriously wrong. Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals at 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals. RE/MAX Professionals.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. And we won't go after your customers directly. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson and Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson and Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson and Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
AM 560, The Answer.
Done. I love the fabulous Thunderbirds. Good stuff. Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson.
That would be us. How you doing?
Franklin County, Kentucky Sheriff's Office has concocted an innovative way to catch drug dealers, root out drug trafficking in their fair community.
Let me guess, sir. Plainclothes officers trying to buy drugs.
Yeah, that would be
That's the old
more standard
antiquated.
issue. Yeah, this is a little bit more using honey rather than vinegar, I guess. They're circulating flyers, attention drug dealers, and there's a nice graphic of a cannabis leaf there, so to make sure that you know that they're talking to you.
Attention drug dealers?
Attention drug dealers, is your drug dealing competition costing you money? We offer, it's like an infomercial. We offer a free service to help you eliminate your competition. Report your competition to us. My drug dealing competition is fill in the blank. My drug dealing competition lives at filling the blank. My drug dealing competition's home phone number is fill in the blank. Cell phone number, fill in the blank.
Zodiac sign?
Competition vehicle. Competition vehicle. I like that. Other means of contact. My drug dealing competition sells during the hours of blank. Mail us your. Why are you so aghast at this?
I can't believe they're asking. Well, they're basically, promoting people to snitch on each other and turn your competition in.
And remember, snitches get stitches. But here's how they avoid that problem. Mail us your drug dealing competition's information or text our text-to-tip line number below. You can do so anonymously.
There you go.
Probably trace it back to you and then arrest you too. But it's kind of a fun prisoner's dilemma game, and many of these criminals won't be familiar with the prisoner's dilemma game, where of course it pays to for everybody not to talk. And so
what town is this again?
This is in Franklin County, Kentucky. It's kind of.
Rand Paul, do you think he was behind this?
I don't.
No, because it's a state issue. Yeah.
This was posted on Facebook too, because the drug dealers love their
Oh my
social
God.
media. This phone number on the flyer led to investigation that helped the sheriff arrest a local drug dealer. Authorities recovered crack cocaine, 4 pounds of marijuana, and 4 firearms, said the sheriff yesterday. This is a tactic, I guess, that has been tried. Similar flyers, maybe not quite as creative, but similar flyers in other, communities around the country, in Massachusetts and Georgia. And, as funny and as ridiculous as it may seem.
Is it going to be effective?
Well, I mean, they got one in the house since they started this, so that's a start, and it's a lot easier than spending money on elaborate sting operations, isn't it? You just say,
true. It's a new
hey,
creative way.
go over there at this time, and they got all this stuff, and they're engaged in illegal activity. That's a lot easier, is getting a cooperation from the competition. It's kind of a free market policing tactic, if you will.
I love it. But I do think that if you turn somebody in, that they're going to find you, too. Because you'd only be turning somebody in if they're competing for your drug dollars.
Well, that's what they're saying explicitly, that it's an appeal to other drug dealers, to rat out other drug dealers. But you can do so anonymously. But the point is, you create
a paper trail.
Well, no, you create a circular firing squad where everybody's turning everybody else in. Because as soon as somebody does it, then you have to assume you're going to be next. And so, one of two things will happen. Either everybody gets arrested or everybody gets killed. Either way, the drug
Either way, it sounds like Game of Thrones.
Drug trafficking is reduced in Franklin County, Kentucky.
Crack is whack.
Blowing away the competition with the latest news and what it means for you. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, if you need to sell your home in Chicagoland, Sean Hannity here with some very important facts that you need to know. 40% of homes hitting the market in Chicago are not selling. Now, those are horrible odds. That's exactly why you need to call Saul Z and the Z team at Keller Williams, based right here in Chicagoland. Saul sells a home on average every 24 hours and attracts hundreds of buyers every month locally, nationally, and internationally. Recently, the Wall Street Journal ranked Saul's team in the top 110 teams out of 1.2 million agents in the U.S. Saul Z guarantees to sell your home in 29 days at a price and deadline that you agreed to, or he will buy your home or he'll sell it for free. Plus, working with Saul is also risk-free. After 24 hours, if he's not doing his job, you can walk away free and clear. Don't worry, you won't. Just call the agent I would call if I needed to sell my home and lived in Chicagoland. Call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666, or go online at callsaul.net. That's callsaul.net.
Got a great night's sleep last night. All thanks to MyPillow from MyPillow. It conforms to your neck and back. Excuse me. It helps when you have frogs in your throat. It helps with snoring, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, all type of ailments. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. American-made, tens of thousands of satisfied customers, and you could be one too. Don't put it off any longer. Go to MyPillow.com, type Amy, A-M-Y, in the promo code. You will get 2 pillows for the price of one, plus 50% off pillow toppers and all other products. Visit MyPillow.com or call this number, 800-489-0201. I think I have it memorized now. 800-489-0201 or MyPillow.com.
Do it. Do it! Come on! Do it now!
Geico applauds your inner road name.
A slow clap goes out to your biker alter ego. You might be mild-mannered Michael in the office, the guy known for raising his hand in meetings, but out on the open road, it's Motor Mike. Geico supports you and your bike, Motor Mike, because beyond cars, Geico insures motorcycles. Those glorious vroom-vroom machines. With 24/7 customer service and great rates, the only thing you'll be raising from now on is a heck of a good time. So head out on the highway and make that road yours, Mike. Make it yours.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
AM 560 The Answer wants you to know that we value your opinion and loyalty. That's why we're giving you the chance to win $5,000 just by answering a few simple questions about why you listen. Now, $5,000 could make one of your dreams come true. Take that vacation you've been dreaming about, pay off bills, throw a huge party, or put a down payment on a car. Just visit 560theanswer.com and click on the Dreams Come True banner for your chance to win.
AM 560, The Answer.
You just heard about it. If you need some extra cash in your pocket, answer a few simple questions and you could win 5,000 smackaroos. Just let us know how we can let's try that again. Just let us know how we can make our radio station more impactful.
I have an idea.
Yeah?
We could have hosts that read the liners right the first time.
Enter to win now at 560theanswer.com. Keyword survey, SURVEY. So do that right now at 560theanswer.com. Enter the keyword survey and tell us how we can make our radio station more impactful. And you could win $5,000.
All right, coming up at 6:36, we have an econ professor from the college I should have attended to talk about Hillary's college plan.
And there's a new defense to fight public urination, and it comes in a coat of paint. We'll explain, but first let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Why am I feeling mellow yellow this morning? No idea. 73 outside. U.S. Embassy in Cuba opens today. It's a developing story we're watching this morning, and Fox News Radio's Eben Brown is there.
When the flag goes up later this morning here in Havana, it will mark a return of an official American presence in Cuba, something that many regular people here have been hoping they'd get to see. Walking around the capital, I've met friendly Cubans who tell me that they're glad the Americans are back and that more should visit and that we should help them end the U.S. embargo. In Havana, Cuba, Eben Brown, Fox News Radio.
But the embassy opening is not sitting well with many Cuban Americans who fled Castro's regime back in the 1950s. Florida Senator and GOP presidential candidate Marco Rubio says the current Castro regime is still tied to terrorism and cannot be trusted. For the next week and a half, the Iowa State Fair will draw over 100,000 people a day. and most of the 2016 presidential candidates as well. Fox News chief political correspondent Carl Cameron is in Des Moines looking at the butter cow and looking at Iowa voters.
A post-Fox debate poll by CNN in Iowa shows only Donald Trump in the 20s, only Ben Carson in the teens, and Scott Walker's been bumped out of the lead into single digits in a statistical tie with Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, and Carly Fiorina for third. Importantly, 2/3 of all likely GOP caucus goers are undecided.
Fox's Carl Cameron in Iowa this morning. Experts say it will take many years, millions of dollars to manage and not even remove the toxic wastewater from an abandoned mine that contaminated western Colorado rivers. Experts say the safest solution would be to install a treatment plant that would indefinitely clean the water. A mediator being brought in as negotiations continue between the Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union, trying to forge a contract deal. The last contract expired June 30th. Flags across the state this morning are at half staff. They're there to honor a Chicago native who was killed in action during World War II. Governor Rauner's office is asking that all U.S. and state flags be lowered in remembrance of 2nd Lieutenant Stephen Bezos until sunset this evening. The Department of Defense announced earlier this month his remains had been identified after going missing in the 1940s while serving in the U.S. Army Air Force. He's scheduled to be buried today at Arlington National Cemetery. Chicago sports, Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2. Kyle Schwarber 2 home runs. Ryan Tannehill spent the first half picking apart a rebuilt Bears defense. Bears reserves picked apart the Dolphins in the second half, leading to a Bears win in the preseason, 27-10. Dustin Johnson will be on the bag with a one-stroke lead this morning as round 2 gets underway at the PGA Championship at Whistling Straits. 6:33 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Dennis Prager Show.
How impossible it has become to avoid leftism. Remember, it's totalitarian in its essence. There is nothing that is freed from their tentacles. They must intrude everywhere. The arrogance of people on the left is so deep because they know better.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cabela's Fall Great Outdoor Days are going on now. Spend $150 and get $25 in Cabela's Bucks, good towards your next purchase. See store for details. Hurry into a Cabela's nearest you. The legendary Wheaton All-Night Flea Market presents the iconic Addams Family TV stars. Tomorrow night, August 15th, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. at DuPage County Fairgrounds by Zirco Promotions.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
It's an exciting time here at the Highland Park Superstore.
That's right, Al. There's never been a better time to buy.
All of our incredible cars.
All at the lowest prices of the year.
No gimmicks, no slick sales talk.
No goofy spokesman.
No big inflatable apes at the dealership. Just great cars at great prices.
You sure about the inflatable ape? I like those.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Maybe just a little one.
Can someone get Marty a monkey? This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
6:35 this morning in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mikey. In Bridgeview, there's a crash at 87th and Harlem. 2 ambulances have been called to the scene. And at 75th and Harlem, the traffic lights are out. Lansing, there's a collision, 173rd and Torrance. Eden's inbound, heavy Elston to the junction. 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Inbound Kennedy, 21 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower's 32 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, a 5-minute delay from Cottage Grove to the merge. Traffic is a service of Cabela's. Cabela's Fall Great Outdoor Days are going on now. Spend $150. Get $25 in Cabela's Bucks, good towards your next purchase. See store for details. Don't miss their biggest sale and event of the season going on now at Cabela's. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny, breezy, a warm afternoon that may include a thunder shower about after 5 p.m. We'll keep our eyes on that. High 86, partly cloudy, and 69 overnight. 73 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. For cleaner, brighter, and softer carpet, visit executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Dan and Amy, 2 Big Ten graduates. One,
yes,
the University of Iowa.
Thank you. The other, Northwestern.
Yes, and something I'm ashamed of.
In Loyola.
Well,
law degree.
A little bit less ashamed of that. Although the law degree, I'm not proud of that either. So my academic choices have been poor.
Yes,
there's no question about
sorry
it.
For you.
Yes, right.
You poor child.
Right. Yes.
So oppressed.
I should have gone to Hillsdale College, and I actually went to, as a young snot-nosed kid in high school, I went to a Leadership Institute Youth Leadership School conference at Hillsdale College.
You did?
Yeah, drove up there, and I enjoyed it so much. I don't know
why you didn't attend.
I guess I can only blame my parents for the lack of guidance, because of course,
I just wanted to keep you closer.
Like every one of our generation, it's somebody else's fault, not mine. But Hillsdale College, one of these colleges that, in addition to being focused on the classics, educating the entire person, the thinking man and woman, they also don't take federal money. So they don't get into this game that colleges, including private colleges like Northwestern, get into, where they're in bed with the federal government. And so it seems to me that perhaps an economist from Hillsdale College would have something important to say about the proposal for quote-unquote free college that Hillary Clinton, or at least debt-free college, that Hillary Clinton offered up this week. And we just happen to have a said economist from Hillsdale, Dr. Gary Wolfram. Professor Wolfram, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. And here's a weird thing. My PhD is from Berkeley.
Oh, boy. Well, that's...
Can't get more liberal than that.
I'm surprised the penance you must have done to get hired at Hillsdale. So give us your initial take on Hillary's plan and how that differs from the Hillsdale College approach to education.
Well, it's exactly the opposite. And what Hillary's plan is basically saying is that the federal government, which caused all this problem in the first place, that is, for example, they loaned money to lots and lots of people who clearly could never pay it back, and then they turn around. This is just like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And then they turn around and say, oh, my gosh, now let's let the federal government have more control over higher education, and we'll solve that problem. Clearly, you cannot provide higher education for everyone and it not be costly. And it's not only costly, but it's going to cause all sorts of weird incentives. For example, I wrote a piece in 1997 about just what you were talking about, how federal aid to higher education has resulted in the loss of independence of our education. And Hillsdale has responded to that back in the 1970s by not taking any federal education money. Nor students take federal education money. We replace it all with private sector grants. And what will happen then is that what's going to happen is just like the Affordable Care Act. Well, the state will get its money to reduce student loan debt if it does this, that, and the other thing. For example, if you eventually it's going to be, well, if you have a class in cultural diversity, then you'll get the money. But if you don't, then you won't get the money. Or if you have a class in, on the Constitution, we're not really sure that that's really good to have, and so you won't get the money. And so eventually what all this plan is a way to get the federal government more involved in higher education.
But so how would this work with Hillary's plan? Would state be required to increase state spending on higher education?
It It would, just as under the Obamacare Affordable Care Act, you had to get into Medicaid, expand your Medicaid program in order to get the federal money. You would have to, the state would have to spend more on higher ed when they're already being required to spend more on Medicaid in order to get the federal money. And so eventually, you're right, what's going to happen is that the federal government's determining what your state budget is.
Yeah, it's interesting. This the comparison you make to healthcare. Steve Forbes has a great formulation on healthcare and the government's involvement that it seems to me applicable to higher ed now as well. And he says in every other business, increased demand for your product or service is a great happening. In healthcare, we call it a crisis. Why is that? Because it's government driven. And on higher ed, it seems to me it's kind of the same thing. Increased demand to go to post-secondary education could ostensibly be a good happening, but it's a debt and access crisis because of the federal government's involvement.
That's exactly right. I mean, the thing is that Milton Friedman talked about this in the 1960s, and he said, here's what we ought to do. You ought to be able to do what's called human capital contracts. That is, you could go out and find some kid in inner city Chicago and say, you know what, I'm willing to pay for your college education, but I get 10% of your earnings over the first 10 years. And what would happen is then people would take that money and they would go out and they would have an incentive to produce goods and services in the future and to get a job that would pay for their education. And if you want to spend your money on getting a degree for which there's very little demand, then that's fine. But the question is, should all of us be paying for you to go to school and decide that you'd rather go to rather than go to class, you'd rather go to the fraternity party or whatever?
Right, and those people who criticize that idea as well, it's like indentured servitude to some corporate titan. Well, what is it when you're paying back your student loans over the course of 20 years? It's indentured servitude to the government.
It isn't, and again, it was the government that went out and made these loans to people who are not going to be able to pay them back. Just as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac went out there and bought mortgage-backed securities and bought mortgages from Countrywide if they were subprime, and just created a system where people were encouraged to go out and get loans for housing they can't afford. We're going to further encourage people to go out and take on loans and take on debt that they can't afford.
So Hillary Clinton's proposal is clearly a way to buy votes or to attract the younger generation to vote for her come possibly the general election.
No question.
Pardon?
That's no question. You're exactly right.
But, I mean, is it feasible at all? I mean, because I'm looking at the numbers in this program, I can't see how it would ever work.
No, it's not feasible because people respond to incentives, right? I mean, that's sort of the main thing of economic theory is that people are going to respond to incentives. And so what's going to happen is you're going to further increase the number of people that are going into higher education. And, I'm involved in that business, but I'm telling you that there's a lot of need for welders out there. In fact, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about this student or this kid that had both his parents were professors, and he was making, at the age of 23, $145,000 a year as a welder. We misdirect people's activities by, saddle and encourage them to take on debt and do things for which it's probably not the best place for them to be.
And it's interesting, and this is coming from Hillsdale College, which is not known for its welding program. It's known for being a liberal arts college. So as you were suggesting before, hey, look, if you want to be an intellectual, you want to be an academic, you want to spend your time reading Robert Browning and majoring in poetry, that's fine. But the system should be such that you do it privately rather than at public expense.
That's correct. Or if someone wants to encourage, how do we are able to have such low tuition? It's because private sector donations. People give us the money because they want to encourage people to do this. And our default rate is less than 5% on our loans,
which is about half of the federal government.
Oh yeah, and it's because actually what's interesting is that the students know the people that are lending the money to them, and they meet with, or if people have scholarships, they meet with the students that they have given their scholarships to. Everyone is involved, and the incentives all move in the correct direction.
It's sort of, it's almost like microfinancing. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a microfinancing project.
It is exactly like that.
And so just develop the Hillsdale model a little bit so we understand it. I mean, you've got Ivy League schools and schools like Northwestern that have multi-billion-dollar endowments. They could be using that to do what Hillsdale does and to eschew federal funding rather than kind of always be expanding campus and
paying seven figures to
right.
chancellors.
Yes, exactly. Those sorts of things. I mean, so they could do that with the resources that they have. They just choose not to because, again, of the incentives the government provides. Look, we'll give you all this money.
That's correct. I mean, and again, it's very important to think about what the unintended consequences of all these things are. I mean, a guy named Bastiat in 1850 wrote about this. He said the difference between a good economist and a bad economist is the bad economist sees the seen, and the good economist sees the unforeseen. There's a ton of unforeseen in this Hillary Clinton plan.
All right. He is Dr. Gary Wolfram. He's the William E. Simon Professor of Economics and Public Policy at Hillsdale College. Professor, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, a coat of paint that fights back. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Warm and humid for the next 3 days. Today, in the afternoon, we can't rule out a shower. A thunderstorm, a high of 90. Tonight, a thunderstorm likely in spots. And Saturday, for the Arlington Million, the Air and Water Show, the Crosstown Classic, it's going to be very warm. Sunshine, a high of 90. And on Sunday, the sticky conditions continue. Plenty of sunshine and a high of 92 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Eden's inbound. Just a 1-minute delay from Elston to the junction. Outbound, it's still good. The Kennedy, 21 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 24. The Eisenhower's fairly light, too. Just 33 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. Stevenson, 37 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 35. Ryan is 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State. It's slow 95th to 87th from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to 290. The other tollways are good. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Wall Street investors looking to corporate developments and economic reports to boost prices today. Crude oil trading near $42 a barrel. Those stories next.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with the Gold Silver Group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset, and we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-425-6588 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group, and find out how you can qualify for up to $700 in free silver. All transactions are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-425-6588. 800-425-6588.
Investors hoping earnings and economic reports will spur buying on the street today. The Dow and S&P fractionally higher on the week. The Nasdaq lower ahead of today's opening bell. Wall Street watching overseas markets and corporate developments. GE selling $16 billion of Capital Bank's U.S. deposits to Goldman Sachs Bank. Investors also reacting to earnings from Applied Materials, JCPenney, and Nordstrom. We'll have the latest reports on wholesale inflation, industrial production, and consumer confidence. And investors awaiting the report on Baker Hughes' oil rig count. September crude oil settling at a more than 6-year low yesterday, now just over $42 a barrel. And join me for Lou Dobbs tonight on the Fox Business Network, 7 and 11 Eastern. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You know what I love about summer? Baseball. You know what I love about baseball? It's a game of probability. You know what I love about my team? Not much, because baseball is a game of probability. The odds of our starting pitcher lasting 3 innings? Slim. The likelihood we'll be mathematically eliminated before July? High. Okay, so maybe I'm not a fan of the probability of my team going above 500. But I am a fan of the fact that with some planning and a little help, I was able to influence the probability that I could retire and stay retired. Maybe our pitcher should consider retirement. Just saying.
Ready to make the game-changing decision to put a plan in place for your retirement? The Mutual Fund Store can help you do just that. Connect with us today for a free review of your investment portfolio or a second opinion on your investments. The person you'll be having a cup of coffee with is right here.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
You've been thinking about switching to solar. Don't wait much longer or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Move quickly because the tide is turning. Solar power's becoming a threat to big energy profits. In fact, some power companies are even pushing for extra fees to make up for lost revenue. Warning, you must have your solar system up and running by midnight December 31st or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Energy prices are expected to increase by as much as 40% in the near future. Go solar now with no down payment, interest, or payments for a whole year. You can afford it because we finance. Get your government money and save big every month. Big Energy is getting nervous and the door of opportunity is about to slam shut. Paying $150 a month or more on energy bills? Then call 1-800-MY-SOLAR now for a free in-home assessment. 1-800-MY-SOLAR.
My home, my savings, 1-800-MY-SOLAR.
AM 560, The Answer.
Have you ever been to San Francisco, Dan?
I have.
It's cold. It's always cold there, and it's always so smelly. There's just a large contingency of homeless people who disobey the laws. They just relieve themselves wherever they need.
It's a Pelosi paradise, as I understand.
Yeah, well, in a way to fight back, because I don't know if you know this, the city of San Francisco, city officials spend $14 million a year steam cleaning the smelly waste off public walls and streets. I was one time in an alley.
And that's just the Pelosi poster.
I was in an alley once near Market Street, and I mean, it gets to the back of your throat. I almost got sick. So what they are doing right now, I mean, it's that bad.
The micturition is that bad?
Yes. City workers, listen to this, have covered 9 public walls with a repellent paint that makes pee spray back at you. So it splashes the violators' shoes and pants, and sometimes, if the angle is right, it gets them right back in the face. Now, here's a reporter.
Isn't it true that the angle of dangle is... What is it, proportional to the heat of the meat? No, something. I don't remember exactly.
Here's the reporter from KRON, where Ron Majors used to work. Here she is demonstrating with a bottle of water how this works.
I'm going to use this water bottle for a demonstration. So when a public urinator goes to pee on a wall with the pee-resistant coating, the urine splashes back on them. Good thing I wasn't wearing suede shoes today.
I love this chick.
Was she urinating on that wall?
No, so she was holding the water bottle where a man would have his thing, and she was, squirting out the water bottle, and this stuff works. I mean, it shoots right back at you. Now, officials have posted signs reading, "Hold it, this wall is not a public restroom. Please respect San Francisco and seek relief in an appropriate place."
Yes, extirpation of urination. That's what the program should be called, and then you'll have to explain to everybody in San Francisco what extirpation means.
Let me play. Yes. This is the public works director.
It's a little mean-spirited, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to be doing that type of act in the first place, right? Hopefully we can change the behavior of some of the few that use our city streets for inappropriate activity.
Yeah, you know where they got this idea from? The Naked Gun movies. The graffiti-resistant wall, where you would spray graffiti and then the wall would graffiti you.
That's a good idea.
The Zucker brothers are the deep public policy thinkers, it turns out. How about that?
Well, this is strange because legislation banning public urination in 2002 has done nothing, and you can get a fine of up to $500. That has done nothing to solve the problem. So they put up this very fortified pea paint is what I'm calling it.
Yeah,
And
San Francisco treat.
And hopefully we can paint certain viaducts here in Chicago with the same kind of pea-resistant paint.
Same old story. Boy finds girl, boy loses girl, girl finds boy, boy forgets girl, boy remembers girl, girl dies in tragic blimp accident over the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. Same old story in San Francisco.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When flipping houses, there's one golden rule. Cash talks. I'm going to show you how you can easily get $10,000 plus all the cash you'll ever need for free. I'm Andrew Holmes, popular radio show host and founder of Chicago's #1 flipping team. And I've flipped over 600 houses in Chicago right under your nose. And now I'm going to show you how. I'm holding a free seminar right here in the Chicagoland area where I'll give a select few the opportunity to use my funding to flip houses and net up to $40,000 per deal without spending a dime of your own money. You don't need good credit and you don't need any of your own money. If the deal is good, you'll get the funds. The first 100 people to call 844-MONEY40 and register will receive my Blueprint to Real Estate Wealth System for free. All you have to do is find a great deal and pass it on to me and I'll give you $10,000. Time is running out. Seating is very limited. Call 844-MONEY40. That's 844-MONEY40.
School is starting in just a few weeks, and if you've been thinking about sending your child to a private school, now is the time to act. Don't start another school year wishing you made a different decision about your child's education. You can make that decision for half the price off regular tuition if you visit halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you'll find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price. There's no catch. It's real simple. Go to halfpriceschools.com and pick out a school near you. They have locations all over the Chicago area, including Grays Lake, Romeoville, South Holland, Palatine, Mount Prospect, Chicago, just to name a few. But do not delay. Your child will be heading back to school very, very soon. And are you sending him or her to the best schools? If not, visit halfpriceschools.com today. Now, many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to do an FHA Streamline refinance to lower your interest rate and payment, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to refinance your 11% loan, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to use your retirement assets to do an asset depletion loan, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, please call me at 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're watching right now. A mediator brought in for contract talks between the CPS and the CTU, and a board in the south suburbs closes a high school. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Secretary of State Kerry will soon land in Cuba, where he hopes more change will come.
A full embrace of the freedom of the Cuban people to choose their future.
Now, this morning he'll be there when the U.S. flag will be raised at the U.S. Embassy for the first time since before Kennedy was president.
Kerry is getting criticism for not inviting members of pro-democracy groups to the ceremony, though the State Department says many civil society leaders are invited to a special reception with Kerry later in the day at the home of the embassy's charge d'affaires.
That's Fox News Radio's Eben Brown in Havana. This may be a first for ISIS using chemical weapons in the fight in Iraq. Fox News News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Fox News has learned that some Kurdish Peshmerga fighters in northern Iraq had blisters that match the symptoms of other victims of mustard gas. The intelligence community is investigating the reports, which, if confirmed, would be the first known time ISIS has used chemical weapons since the group came to prominence last year. The Wall Street Journal reports ISIS may have obtained chemical weapons in Syria and may get their hands on more as troops loyal to Bashar al-Assad lose ground in the country's bloody civil war. Dave.
Rachel, California is being told a powerful El Nino is likely coming this fall and winter. Unusually warm Pacific Ocean temperatures that can cause a big-time amount of stormy weather.
But we're going to get a lot of flooding, probably a lot of mudslides. Forecasting models say a strong El Nino. It's a matter now at this point, how strong does it get? Is it the strongest ever, which is very likely?
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth, this could help the drought, though El Ninos typically hit Southern California worse. The central and northern areas, which supply a lot of the state's water, would not get as much rain. A man in Ohio who lost his cell phone while riding a roller coaster at Cedar Point lost his life yesterday trying to retrieve it.
He jumped over a fence into a restricted area under the Raptor.
And Sandusky Assistant Police Chief Phil Frost says that's when the Raptor hit and killed James Young. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
We have cloudy skies this morning, 72 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. There will be a mediator brought in to assist negotiations between the Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union. Mediation is a step that is needed before any strike can take place. Flags will fly at half-staff across Illinois, both the Illinois flag and the U.S. flag, to honor a Chicago native killed in action during World War II. Governor Rauner's office asked that those flags be lowered in remembrance of 2nd Lieutenant Stephen Bezos until sunset this evening. Bezos' remains were discovered earlier this month, scheduled to be buried today at Arlington National Cemetery. A high school in Wilk County shutting down. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voting last night to shutter Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort.
I'm heartbroken. Our community, our North community, is such a close-knit community, and that school is such a part of everybody.
The decision was made in order to help resolve a $5.5 million budget deficit. University of Illinois Chancellor Phyllis Wise says she'll submit her resignation again and decline an appointment to an advisory role reporting directly to President Timothy Killeen. Wise said in an email to reporters she is now talking to lawyers about potential next steps. Prosecutors say more than 100 New York high school students and dozens more here in Chicago and elsewhere in Houston and Nashville have been cheated out of promised paychecks by a charity scam. Students were recruited to work at concession stands, for example, at Citi Field in New York and other venues. Nassau County prosecutors in New York say the concessionaire Aramark Sports believe the students were volunteering for the Heron Foundation charity. The prosecutor says Heron was paid $100,000 from concession stands income to back its charitable program. Prosecutors say then Heron executives pocketed that cash. Chicago sports, Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2 thanks to 2 long home runs from Kyle Schwarber. Bears were preseason winners over the Dolphins 27-10. The news service of Cabela's. Cabela's Fall Great Outdoor Days are going on now. Spend $150 and get $25 in Cabela's bucks, good towards your next purchase. See store for details. Don't miss their biggest sale and event of the season going on now at Cabela's. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes Hillary Clinton has an uphill battle.
I don't think it's going to quite unfold the way Hillary wants, and I think it's going to be more difficult than she anticipates. Let's start with the fact and assume here for a minute that if she wins the Democratic nomination, she's going to be running now for a 3rd Democratic presidential term. She will be tied directly to the record of Obama.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
You're not crazy to start your own business, no matter what they say. We're GoDaddy.com, and we're just the team to help get your business online. Our Get Online Today toolkit gets you a memorable domain name, a professional website, and personalized email powered by Microsoft Office 365 for just $1 per month. Just $1 with the purchase of an annual plan. Get your business online today with the Get Online Today toolkit at GoDaddy.com/radio. That's GoDaddy.com/radio. Domain included with annual plan only. See site for details.
When I would binge, I would feel completely out of control. I would eat so much during my binges. After a binge, I would feel so bad about myself. Hi, I'm Sunny C. Gold. I'm a magazine writer and editor. I was diagnosed with binge eating disorder. My advice to someone suffering is to just get help. There is hope. If you're an adult who's binged at least weekly for 3 months, learn all of the symptoms at bingeeatingdisorder.com. Then talk with your doctor.
Sponsored by Shire.
It is 7:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Bridgeview, ambulances have responded to 87th and Harlem. There's a crash there, and 2 right lanes are blocked on southbound Harlem Avenue. Eden's inbound 19 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Inbound Kennedy delays, Nagel to Central and Addison to Diversey. 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Eisenhower is 32 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Southbound I-57, it's a bit of a delay from I-80 to Flossmoor Road. There's a stalled semi in the area. Northbound Tri-State, a little heavy, 87th to 75th. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to 290. The other tollways are delay-free. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast, a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. More humid with a high of 90. A shower or thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with a low 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
73 at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront, 76 at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Aging Info Radio. Heard Sunday mornings at 9, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
To the race for president now, which for the next 10 days is turning Iowa into the center of the political universe. Nearly every candidate is scheduled to appear at the state fair there, and the ones getting some of the biggest buzz hail from far outside the Beltway.
And welcome to the first day of the Iowa State Fair.
Trump is just entertaining as hell, and he comes in and he acts like he's just gonna, be a wrecking ball to government as usual.
I think people are just tired of not getting anything done in Washington.
When liberals say, I'm prepared for you to lose your job in the name of sending a signal to whom? China could care less. In fact, China is delighted that we are not spending any time or energy figuring out clean coal because they're going to go do it.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. Amy, this Hillary email story keeps getting more and more juicy. 52% of Americans support a criminal investigation of Hillary's emails. There are calls from former members of the intelligence community that Hillary Clinton, if she retained her government security clearance when she left the State Department as is normal practice, should have that clearance suspended, given what has become known about her trafficking in classified information. And unlike the Clinton camp is saying, it's not classified information that was subsequently classified. It's classified information that was classified at the time she was communicating it. So says inspector generals in the intelligence community. And those assertions have not been challenged specifically.
And we're learning this morning that that server was not at her home in upstate New York. It was in some warehouse in New Jersey.
Yes. Wiped clean. Yes.
How convenient.
Well, for more on this and insight from the Beltway, we're now joined by our friend Brett Baer, of course, Fox News Channel Special Report host. You can watch Special Report and Brett's Roundtable Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. Chicago time. Brett, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So are you looking forward to covering the criminal trial of Hillary Clinton during the presidential campaign this cycle?
Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. It's not good for the Hillary Clinton campaign. The more that they are explaining what happened or what they said happened, the less it seems to pan out. She said she didn't have any receive or send any classified material. That's not true. I mean, there was classified material on her server. They took a sample of 40 emails out of the thousands and thousands. And of those 40, 4 came back with sensitive material, classified material, and 2 of the 4 had top secret, what's called compartmentalized information, which is the highest classification the U.S. has. So that was in the email, whether it was marked or not, and she's got a problem.
Well, one of the top secret emails was about a U.S. drone operation. Do you know anything more about that?
Well, it had satellite information and pictures associated with it. We know that. We also know that there was some element to another email that had to do with signals intelligence. In other words, intelligence taken from a foreign government that the NSA or someone had retrieved. Obviously, if you're looking at that as Secretary of State, one would think that someone knowledgeable about that kind of information would know that it was classified.
And I understand that law enforcement and intelligence is kind of they're on the conservative side in terms of conduct. They don't want to kind of rush out and make outlandish statements, but their hedging is getting a little silly. You had one of the reporters from McClatchy that broke portions of this story, suggesting that the FBI investigation now is into the conduct but not the candidate. How do you separate the two?
You don't. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's her email server that originally was at her house. I mean, you're right. It went eventually to another company that held it in New Jersey, but it was originally in her house. The stuff was in the server. So, okay, you can talk about how it got there and why it was there, but it's still her server. So she's part of it, whether she's a target of the probe technically by definition or not.
And you have a lot of experience talking to people in the intelligence community in federal law enforcement. My guess is at some point, no matter how many friends she has, there's only a certain level of embarrassment that they're willing to tolerate, and because it reflects badly on the job they do and the agencies they represent, and for the lies and the obfuscations and the stonewalling as the evidence is piling up that she, frankly, appears more than arguably that she violated federal law. It's incumbent upon these agencies to do something about someone illegally trafficking classified information.
If there's anything in the government that is handled with more sensitivity and more usually swift action, it is the handling of classified information. You have people who have served jail time for less than what we're looking at here, if it all comes to pass. And you have people being fined, losing their jobs, definitely losing their security clearance for much less. So I think that this is going to move fast. As much as there's all this talk about how long it's going to take, I think they're going to come to some initial conclusions pretty quick.
And the Democrats seem to get, they're very nervous right now, a little jittery. I woke up to news that Al Gore is possibly seeking another run for the White House.
He told Politico today he's not going to challenge Hillary. I don't know if that sentence means that if Hillary drops out that he may get in. But he is dropping some LBs, and and you know what that means always. And then you've got John Kerry. He has not apparently ruled it out, and Joe Biden's going to make a decision in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, apparently he's in South Carolina right now with his family wrestling with the decision on whether or not to jump in. But he has told his close friends that he's better qualified for the job than Hillary.
I think we talked about it here, that when the president overseas said I could win a third term, a lot of people in this town saw that as signaling that who is the best to carry the torch for the Obama administration.
And, Al Gore, he'd be like Nixon in 68, huh? Tan, rested, and ready to go at it again.
Ready.
That would be that would be interesting. Also, just sticking on this email topic for a minute, Huma Abedin, Mrs. Carlos Danger, she apparently has lawyered up. So one of the other things that's going on as we're focusing on Hillary is that law enforcement may be focusing on some of her aides and kind of working their way up the food chain.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes in these negotiations, rather investigations, that's what happens, is they go after someone else, like a lower person, and they really put the squeeze on, and then that person cooperates, and eventually you lead to the big fish. That may be happening this time, but Uma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, Hillary Clinton's former chief of staff, there's a lot of possibilities here, and they're all not good.
Brett Baer, host of Special Report, 5 o'clock Central Time. Brett, Iowa is the center of the political universe right now because of course, the Iowa State Fair. But why is the anti-Washington candidate gaining so much traction right now with voters? Donald Trump and Ben Carson has surged in the polls.
Well, I think and Carly Fiorina has jumped since the debate significantly, all of them non-politicians. I think there is just such antipathy for Washington in general, both parties. I mean, look at Bernie Sanders on the Democratic side. There is a sense that the normal politician can talk all day long, but nothing gets done when you get to Washington. And there is, I think, a hunger for authenticity and people that can shake things up. So I guess Donald J. Trump fits a lot of those characteristics.
Now, have you audited the viewership of the Fox News Channel debate yet? Because Donald Trump claimed responsibility for 22 of your 24 million viewers, and I just want to get confirmation that is an accurate figure.
Yeah, we didn't poll them directly. Listen, there's no doubt, and I readily concede that a lot of the attention came because they wanted to see how Trump dealt with the debate, his first debate ever. I do suggest to you that the 5 p.m. without Trump anywhere near it did 6.1 million, which would be the third highest Republican debate viewership ever. And that was at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. So I think there was interest no matter what. Clearly, Trump supercharged it.
Trump only claims credit for 3 of those 6 million viewers in the early debate. All right, before we let you jump, I got to get your prediction. You're an avid golfer, as am I. Dustin Johnson leads the first round of the PGA. You know he's going to fade on Sunday, which is what he does in majors. Who's going to win the PGA at Whistling Straits?
Jason Day.
Finally, Jason Day breaks through. I hope so. I'm rooting for him, too. I like it. All right, Brett Baer, host of Special Report on Fox News Channel. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro for Answer Line.
They call me the ratings machine.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Clouds right now, and we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm today, a high of 90 degrees. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. Saturday for the Air and Water Show, the Crosstown Classic, or if you're going to the Arlington Million, you're going to have a great day. It's going to be partly sunny, hot and humid, a high of 90. And on Sunday, hot, plenty of sunshine, a high in the low 90s. Let's get the travel times. And are people setting up along Lakeshore Drive near North Avenue yet, Jim Telemonte?
Yeah, Amy, but it's going to be a traffic mess this weekend. A lot of sticky traffic to go along with the weather. So we'll keep you posted here on AM 560 throughout the weekend. But right now, things are really light for commuters on this Friday morning. There's a bit of a delay on the northbound tri-state from Archer to Ogden, and it's slow as usual at 290. Otherwise, the tollways at the moment are delay-free. So is the inbound Edens, outbound, just a 1-minute delay Montrose to Cicero. The Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26. The Ike, 32 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. The Stevenson is light, too, at 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 35, the Ryan just 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive looks pretty good. Northbound just a little heavy around Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Painting is personal. That's why I've chosen CertaPro to do some painting. And with CertaPro, you get the best of both worlds. They're America's largest painting company, yet they're also your neighborhood painter. With CertaPro, you know, it's not too late to get on their summer schedule. Summer is the perfect time to get that exterior painting off your to-do list. Schedule your exterior painting to coincide with your summer vacation. You'll come back renewed and refreshed to a fresh new coat of paint on your home. CertaPro, it's not just a coat of paint. CertaPro takes pride in transforming your house into your home. Let CertaPro's color specialists help you make your home a personal expression of you. When the painters arrive, they move the furniture, paint, clean up, and when they finish painting, they move it back. It's that simple. I've chosen CertaPro, and you should too. So go to CertaPro.com, CertaPro.com, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. CERTA Pro, because painting, it's personal.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. They really are just like your original ones. What you probably don't know is that not all implants are the same quality, and there are a lot of unqualified people doing implants.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. You'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I was on thyroid medicine for 5 years. I have completely got off of it, and all my blood work came back excellent.
It does a lot of good for me because I feel it works. The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know what that music is from, Amy?
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, that's a dork check. Nicely done.
Thank you. I've been doing some research.
Good.
Ever since I heard a certain word.
Where do you go for common sense and moral and political courage in Hollywood? Of course, you go to a fictional warlike dwarf. Gimli. There he is, wielding that axe of his. Gimli, a.k.a. John Rhys Davies, did a interview with Adam Carolla on his popular podcast, in which he said, among other things, this is talking about terrorism, radical Islamic terrorism. There's an extraordinary silence in the West. Basically, Christianity in the Middle East and in Africa is being wiped out. I mean, not just ideologically, but physically, and people are being enslaved and killed because they are Christians, and your country and my country are doing nothing about it. And by the way, there's a expansive piece in the New York Times today about how ISIS uses rape as a tool of enslavement.
And they're also using chemical weapons right now.
Well, of course, but the use of rape, other human beings, enslaving other human beings through the violence of rape, when you talk about civilization being in the crosshairs, this is exactly what Gimli is talking about here. He adds the notion that we've evolved into a species that's incapable of judging other groups and what they're doing, especially when it's beheading people or setting people on fire or throwing acid in the face of schoolgirls. I like that kind of judging. It's evolved. We don't want to be judgmental. Every other age has come before us has believed exactly the opposite. I mean, T.S. Eliot, referencing T.S. Eliot, I'm impressed, referred to the common pursuit of true judgment. Yes, that's what it's about, getting our judgments right. It's an age where politicians don't actually say what they believe. They're afraid of being judged as being partisan. Heaven forbid that we should criticize people who, after all, share a different value system. But it's all relevant. It's all equally relative. We're all the same. And God and the devil, they're the same, aren't they? Really? Right and wrong. It's just two faces of the same coin, he said sarcastically. We have lost our moral compass completely. And unless we find it, we're going to lose our civilization. I think we're going to lose Western European Christian civilization anyway. Pretty strong words from Gimli. But he's willing to put in the fight, as you know, from the Lord of the Rings.
Does he do anything else besides grunt?
No,
Does he have a speaking role?
He does some speaking, but usually it's kind of, of the charge variety.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
See?
Nobody tosses a dwarf?
Yeah, he doesn't get pushed around.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't get pushed around in Middle Earth. He doesn't get pushed around in Hollywood.
Well, here's one dwarf she won't ensnare so easily.
My hat goes off to Gimli. The character in Lord of the Rings is very entertaining.
Yes, he is.
I like him much
Not
more.
easy on the eyes, though. Ooh.
What about Gollum?
Oh, yeah. He does look better than Gollum.
Or Frodo. I mean, what's his name who plays Frodo? I'm blanking on his name. He really is small. John Rhys Davies, my hat's off to you. Gimli, my hat's off to you as well.
I have the eyes of a hawk and the ears of a fox.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. And we won't go after your customers directly. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
The answer was Elijah Wood played
Hit
Frodo.
me right as soon as we got off the air.
Yeah.
Isn't that always
It's
the
going to go on the tank all weekend.
It's my aging.
Well, if you won't have early aging if you get a pillow from My Pillow because you need to sleep, Dan, every night. You should have 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Are you getting that kind of rest? Dan, answer the question.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, you should try getting a pillow from My Pillow because it conforms to your neck and back. It will help with insomnia. It will help if you snore. It will help if you have chronic neck pain, maybe allergies. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. American-made, tens of thousands of satisfied customers. They have a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, just return it. So go now, do it today. Go to mypillow.com. Type Amy, A-M-Y, in the promo code. You'll get 2 pillows for the price of one. So give one as a gift and give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep. Don't put it off any longer. Or you can go old school and call this number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-573-2467. That's 1-800-573-2467. 1-800-573-2467. Or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
AM 560. The Answer.
George in Elk Grove Village says Rand Paul plays Frodo in Lord of the Rings. That would actually be interesting. He could play it. That's a good idea. That's pretty close. Actually, I'm going to do this during the break, and we'll take your texts on this, too. Which presidential candidate associated with which Lord of the Rings characters? There are plenty of characters to go wrong. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a good one.
That could be a fun parlor game. All right, we'll take your text, 646-360-A.
But and coming up also, Byron York will be here, and What else do we have, Dan?
We have,
seem to not be able to read today.
Speaking of the presidential candidates,
Oh,
the music associated with presidential candidates, we'll have that at 7:45.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom to a man who's always on top of it, Mike Scott.
73 outside. We're watching a developing story this morning, and this is an update on a story tied to that monstrous explosion in China. Many of the 700 people injured are John Deere employees. Farm Implement Company, of course, based in the Quad Cities, has a major facility in the Chinese city of Tianjin. John Deere spokesman says many of those employees are in critical condition this morning. Republicans hoping to become the next U.S. president are making their voices heard at the Iowa State Fair. The annual event is a big draw for candidates, including former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, who stepped first to the soapbox yesterday.
If for some crazy reason you are not going to vote for me in the caucuses, for God's sake, stay home that night where it's warm and do not leave your home. Thank you, folks.
Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush addressed a national security forum in Iowa yesterday.
I'll tell you, though, that taking out Saddam Hussein turned out to be a pretty good deal.
Meantime, the former Florida governor will be at the Iowa State Fair today. Secretary of State John Kerry in Havana. He'll oversee the raising of the U.S. flag over the American embassy there for the first time in more than a half century. American officials are investigating reports that ISIS is using chemical weapons. Pentagon officials say they believe the terrorists used mustard gas in an attack on Kurd forces in Iraq earlier this week. A man is dead after being struck by a roller coaster when he entered a restricted area at the Cedar Point amusement park. 45-year-old James Young jumped a fence to get into that area where his cell phone and wallet may have fallen from the Raptor ride.
That ride's really fast, and that guy, he got knocked out, and his skull got cracked, and he was down there for at least probably 20 minutes, half hour.
While the ride was closed for the rest of the day, the amusement park remained open. A mediator being brought in as negotiations continue between the Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union. A high school in Will County shutting down. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 Board voting last night to shut down Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort after the upcoming year to close a $5.5 million budget deficit. People will be gathering along the lakefront this weekend for the 2015 Chicago Air and Water Show, the event running from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., both Saturday and Sunday, and the CTA providing extra service for those who want public transportation. And this morning we are on Candy Watch because M&M's has a new flavor. Ready for this? Candy shoppers are spotting pecan pie M&M's at Walmart stores this weekend and started yesterday and expected to increase through the weekend. The limited edition Thanksgiving flavor will be available likely everywhere in time for Halloween. Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2. A couple of bombs from Kyle Schwarber. And the Bears rallied in the second half for a 27-10 preseason win over the Dolphins last night. The news, a service of Triton College. Take a new look at Triton College with their award-winning faculty, proven student success, exceptional programs, services, and cutting-edge facilities. It's time you took a new look at triton.edu/new look. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager can't believe how badly the deal with Iran is going.
George W. Bush argues against the lifting of Iran sanctions. It's so bad what's happening with Iran. It is so bad what this administration is doing that even George W. Bush is now speaking out. Oh, this presidency is so destructive. Oh, it takes my breath away.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
The legendary Wheaton All-Night Flea Market presents the iconic Addams Family TV stars. Tomorrow night, August 15th, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. at DuPage County Fairgrounds by Zirco Promotions.
Got a lot on your to-do list? Now, during Kubota's Power to Do Great Things sales event, get a great deal on an L3301 or 3901 tractor with a live continuous running rear PTO. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years. And great customer instant rebates when you buy a new L3301 or 3901 and 2 implements. Now through September 30th, 2015. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
7:35 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. There's some good traffic news on this Friday morning on the Indiana Toll Road westbound. The ramp to westbound 8094 and eastbound 94 scheduled to reopen at 9 o'clock this morning, well ahead of schedule. It's been closed for many months. The Edens Expressway is delay-free right now, both directions. Inbound Kennedy, slow Irving Park to Diversey and Division into downtown. The express lanes are clear, though. It's 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26 as well. The Eisenhower, 32 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. Stevenson, just a 3-minute delay inbound Central to Kedzie, outbound a 1-minute delay approaching Cicero. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound fine at 15. Southbound I-57, heavy from I-80 to Flossmoor Road, burned out semi-trailer on the right side. Northbound Tri-State slow Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway a bit tight, Toohey to Lee. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny, breezy, warm this afternoon, although you couldn't tell that by the cloudy skies we have right now. 86 for a high temp, 69 overnight, 88 and much more humid tomorrow. 73 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
All right, we're still putting the cast together. Presidential candidates and their associated Lord of the Rings characters. We've got a text that suggests Hillary is Gollum because she stops at nothing to get that precious nomination. I like that.
And then somebody else said Hillary is orc.
An orc, yeah. She could be an orc. The orc would have to have a pantsuit. But yeah, I could see that. Mike Scott in the newsroom suggested Bernie Sanders is Sauron, the evil wizard. Yeah, that's good. Well, obviously Carly Fiorina would be Arwen, Princess Arwen.
Rand Paul is Frodo.
Right, Rand Paul could be Frodo. Huckabee could be Bilbo Baggins, the uncle. Yeah, well, we'll keep working on it. One important note, in addition to the silliness of this other stuff.
Big Fun Friday.
Closing the loop. Remember the Planned Parenthood video number 6 released this week?
Mm-hmm.
And there was STEM Express as well as the National Abortion Federation went to court to try and get an injunction. They got a TRO, temporary restraining order. They want an injunction to enjoin certain videos from being released. Yesterday, California Superior Court tossed the injunction. In a brief, they said even if the video was obtained illegally, an injunction was not permissible. So those videos are coming out, all dozen or baker's dozen of them. I think there's 13 in total, and we're at 12, 6.
But, yeah.
Also,
can I buy the box set?
At some point, you may be able to. And also, the other thing that's interesting about this is that the STEM Express could be held liable for the Center for Medical Progress's court costs under California's anti-SLAPP statute, and the same thing with National Abortion Federation. The anti-SLAPP statute is a law to prevent strategic lawsuits against public participation, essentially punishing people for speaking out. So it'd be nice to not only make sure these videos get out, but to impose some additional costs, turn over some of that blood money from STEM Express and the National Abortion Federation as well. So just closing the loop on that injunction story. Those videos are coming out. Next up, we've got our friend Byron York, Washington Examiner, joining us. Byron, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good morning, folks.
So the big news in the last couple of days, as the Hillary email story has offered some new twists and turns, is Democrats in full panic, looking for a white knight, looking for the cavalry. Is it coming? And if it is, in what form is it going to take?
it may already be here in the form of Bernard Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Getting these huge crowds. I mean, really, really big crowds, 20,000 plus crowds, biggest crowds of anybody, Republican or Democratic campaign. What we have seen, if you look at the Real Clear Politics average of polls, in May, Hillary has a 50-point lead. Okay, 48, 46, 45, 41, 34. Now she's at 35 points lead over Sanders. Obviously, that's still a huge lead. But we have seen him actually pull ahead in Iowa. We've seen him in New Hampshire.
Right.
We've seen him be very close in Iowa. And what we saw this week was the Hillary campaign sent out a 6-page, everybody calm down, it's going to be fine memo. Mm-hmm. And, it's August, and they're sending out, please don't panic memos. So clearly there's a problem.
What are the chances that she will face criminal charges and possibly go to jail over trying to cover up these top secret personal emails sent from her personal server?
Well, we are a long way from knowing anything like that. What we do know right now is that there was, when we know this from the Inspector General of the intelligence community, is that there was classified information on her server. And I think we have some hint maybe that there could be quite a bit of it, because remember, there are tens of thousands of emails on that server that she determined were work-related. And it's not as if the Inspector General looked at all of those. That's a huge job. They took a sample of 40 of them, and of those, they found 4 had classified information, and 2 of those 4 had top-secret classified information. So you just got to think, if they found top-secret information on 5% of the emails of the first 40 they randomly checked, how much is there going to be when they actually go through the tens of thousands of emails? So it could be pretty darn serious.
And as her campaign continues to wither under these daily developments in this email server story, what is happening behind the scenes in the Democrat Party? I know you have, the flacks out there saying there's nothing to see here. Paul Begala is doing his best to quell this on Twitter. It's not working. And so Biden, Elizabeth Warren, is there a real movement afoot among Democrat power brokers and financiers to find an alternative and to move towards that alternative? Because I assume that they understand that if they nominate an avowed socialist, they're going to have a Republican president.
We haven't heard any noise about Elizabeth Warren reconsidering her decision, but we're hearing a lot about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is down in Kiowa, South Carolina, considering his options, allegedly, vacationing, but considering his options. We have new reports this morning that there's, that he's spoken to his political operatives and spoken to key political operatives in the early states, and that this is looking more like an exploratory committee. But they got to explore pretty fast. While everybody says, "Oh, it's a long way," it's way early. It's just August. Getting an organization together is a big deal. It takes quite a while, and he would need to get going on it. Also, prospective candidacies always look better than real candidacies. Mm-hmm. So I think people have to consider, Democrats have to consider, okay, what if Joe Biden did run? When people started looking at him as a serious candidate, would they be happy with what they see? He's not run well in the past. He would be 74 years old on Inauguration Day, 5 years older than Ronald Reagan was when he was inaugurated, and at the time he was the oldest president ever inaugurated. So they have some serious issues to consider. I mean, I think the basic fact is Democrats have basically put all their chips on Hillary Clinton, and when you do that, you're in for a lot of nervous time.
Well, isn't it interesting, too, because it seems like Democrats are in the position that Republicans have been in for maybe the better part of the last 20 years, which is, okay, next in line. We're talking about a handful of candidates that are all in their late 60s or early 70s that have been kind of creatures of the Beltway, where you've got all kinds of new and interesting and dynamic candidates on the Republican side. It just turns out the Democrats have no bench, and so they're groping in the dark to find somebody that can be history-making, and the best they come up with is Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, it is true. The Democrats fielded a remarkably geriatric field for a party that bases a lot of its appeal on young voters. Hillary Clinton would be 69 on Inauguration Day. Biden would be 74 on Inauguration Day. I believe Bernie Sanders would be 75 on Inauguration Day. And the only person who's in kind of the sweet spot, the age sweet spot for presidency, is Martin O'Malley, who would be, I think, 54, but he's just going nowhere right now.
It's so strange. I mean, there's more youth and diversity in the Republican Party right now than the Democratic Party.
By a long shot.
By a mile.
Yeah.
By a mile. I think you have to look at two things as the causes for this Democratic situation. One, a lot of Democrats got wiped out in 2010 and 2014. And two, I think the Clintons have kind of cleared the field. I think a lot of people are scared to run against them. And if you are if you're in your late 40s now and you have presidential ambitions and you're a Democrat, you might have run this year, except running against the Clintons would be difficult. One, if you don't make any progress at all, you'll be just such a loser. You might not get taken seriously the next time around. But two, if you actually run seriously and run a hard-charging, critical campaign against the Clintons, they're going to get back at you someday. So I think a number of Democrats who might have had presidential ambitions this year have decided it's just not worth the trouble, and they'll wait for later.
And it's interesting, too. You mentioned the memo that her campaign manager, the Dickensian named Robbie Mook, wrote. Robbie Mook. Very interesting. In that memo, focused a lot about electoral math and not too much on the attributes of Hillary Clinton as a candidate. I mean, what we're seeing...
Such a good point.
Yeah.
That is such a good point. Basically, Robbie Mook said, as Democrats, our demographic electoral advantage is so strong that we basically can't screw it up.
Right.
Which is an amazing appeal for a guy who's trying to elect a particular candidate to be president.
Yeah, what did Clarence Darrow once say? When I was young, I was told that anybody could become president. I'm starting to believe that's true. That's essentially what he's saying. We could put anybody in there. We could put a ham sandwich up as the nominee, and because of the electoral map, we're going to win. And that's essentially what he's comparing Hillary Clinton to.
And that's supposed to make you feel better about supporting Hillary Clinton.
Well, it's funny. And going back 8 years ago, I suppose, I mean, it was this concern about Hillary Clinton's ability to win a general election that gave, and among the financier class, the Jeffrey Katzenbergs and the like, Geffen, that ultimately gave rise to Barack Obama, but they don't have
They don't have a Barack Obama in their back pocket.
They don't have a blank slate like Obama that they can put forward.
Well, there was a collective swoon over Obama in 2008, and it just completely overwhelmed Hillary Clinton. But that's just not on the horizon this time. There's nobody like that. And the question for Clinton is, can she keep the Obama coalition, basically of minorities, women, and young people, together enough to win without Barack Obama on the ticket? And Obama racked up extraordinary totals with some of those groups, not just in the percentage of the vote, but in the turnout, the number of people he got to turn out to vote. And there are real questions, demographic advantage aside. There are real questions whether, having alienated a lot of the white vote, the sort of middle-aged white person vote, whether they can keep that Obama coalition enough together to win again without him.
All right. He is Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. Byron, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A lot of events happening in Chicago this weekend. The Crosstown Classic, the Arlington Million, the Air and Water Show, of course. So want to pay attention to this forecast. Today, it's cloudy right now. We do have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. It will be hot and humid, a high of 90. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. Saturday looks terrific, partly sunny, hot and humid, a high of 90, and more of the same on Sunday. We'll have plenty of sunshine and humidity, a high in the low 90s. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. And also there's a street closure on the near west side for Festa Italiana. Taylor Street's blocked off between Racine and Ashland. The Eden's travel time is looking great. 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Inbound Kennedy, there's some delays in the locals starting around Irving Park. 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown, and outbound 26, Low Montrose to Sayre. The Eisenhower, just 32 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. The Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5 to 34. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 has mild delays in both directions approaching Flossmoor Road. There's a burned-out semi-trailer on the right side southbound. Adams Tollway westbound, slow Barrington Road to past Higgins with road work in the right lane. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com. It's time to get out of the suburbs and enjoy all that the lakefront has to offer. So visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com and find a fabulous entertainment cruise experience for two on Lake Michigan. For only $139, you'll enjoy a romantic gourmet dinner and a spectacular view of the skyline aboard the elegant Odyssey at Navy Pier. If you feel like dancing the night away, then you'll love the Spirit of Chicago cruise. $115 for two includes dinner and dancing while taking in the views of the shoreline. And for something completely different, experience the best dance club on the water. Take a blue after dark moonlit cruise on the Mystic Blue. Featuring late night hors d'oeuvres and an interactive DJ, it's perfect for a girls' night out or for a date night. The Mystic Blue certificate is valued at $176 for two. It's only $88 at CRD. Romance and fun are in the air and on the water this summer, brought to you only by your good friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
When flipping houses, there's one golden rule. Cash talks. I'm going to show you how you can easily get $10,000 plus all the cash you'll ever need for free. I'm Andrew Holmes, popular radio show host and founder of Chicago's #1 flipping team. And I've flipped over 600 houses in Chicago right under your nose. And now I'm going to show you how. I'm holding a free seminar right here in the Chicagoland area where I'll give a select few the opportunity to use my funding to flip houses and net up to $40,000 per deal without spending a dime of your own money. You don't need good credit and you don't need any of your own money. If the deal is good, you'll get the funds. The first 100 people to call 844-MONEY40 and register will receive my Blueprint to Real Estate Wealth System for free. All you have to do is find a great deal and pass it on to me and I'll give you $10,000. Time is running out. Seating is very limited. Call 844-MONEY40. That's 844-MONEY40.
As a parent, nothing fills you with pride more than your child excelling at something that they love. For some kids, it's sports. For others, maybe photography. At Center Stage in Bloomingdale, it's dance. Children of all ages have loved and embraced dance at Center Stage Dance Studio for years. The Daily Herald recognizes year after year the benefit that dance classes provide youths. From 2-year-olds to competitive dancers, classes exist for all styles and expressions. Tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical, even hip-hop. Dancer Magazine voted Center Stage as one of the best dance studios in America. Register for fall classes today by calling 630-529-9080 or check out some pictures and an abundance of useful information at CenterStageDanceOnline.com. Find out how dance can fit into your child's life. Call 630-529-9080 or visit CenterStageDanceOnline.com. Center Stage Dance Studio is a proud supporter of AM 560's Feed the Children.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Cause he's got high hopes.
Fan Prof. Amy Jacobson. So, Amy, it turns out you're not the only one with strange musical history. A lot of the Republican presidential candidates had flirtations with musical instruments during their formative years. You, of course, French horn.
Yes. Third chair, 3 out of 3.
Yes. That was...
and I played the piano, and I was in show choir, Big Ten show choir, Dan. Mm-hmm.
Show choir at University of Iowa?
Yeah. We were called the Old Gold Singers. So take that!
Yeah, I remember you, Rue
Jazz
McClanahan, B. Arthur. Yeah, I love that group. So, for example, Jim Gilmore, the former Virginia governor,
yes,
he played the clarinet. He quit music because
you got to get your reed wet.
Yes, boy, I love choir jokes. Yeah,
it's
good
so
stuff.
many band jokes we called them.
Uh-huh.
All right, what else do you have?
John Kasich. Kasich was once kicked off the stage at a Grateful Dead concert. He had been invited to the concert as a guest of opener Dwight Yoakam. Dwight Yoakam opened for the Grateful Dead.
What?
I like Dwight Yoakam. But, he came as a guest of Yoakam, tried to sidle his way on stage when the Dead came on, and he was tossed, and attendees describe him as obnoxious, disruptive, and yelling.
Shocker.
That doesn't stop 20 years later.
Did he play an instrument? Or he just
no,
crashed bands?
He was a band crasher.
Okay, what else you got?
Ben Carson took clarinet lessons, later switched to the cornet.
Okay,
Yeah.
of course he did.
Uh-huh.
Do you know the difference between a clarinet and a cornet? It's the reed. Not to go back to the reed.
Another reed joke.
Okay, it's true.
Huckabee, of course, played the guitar. He plays like Cat Scratch Fever with Ted
Huckabee's
Nugent.
playing all you can eat buffet. Have you seen him? Whew. Getting large. I don't know if he's just getting bloated or he's got an eating problem, but I saw him at the Iowa State Fair yesterday, and there's a lot of him to see. Okay, go on.
A lot of fried squirrel for Mike Huckabee.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, one of the reasons we won the Super Bowl in 1985 is because we had a great defense. Hi, this is Mike Ditka. In today's uncertain financial times, you need retirement accounts with defense you can count on. The stock market, it's a roller coaster. It can have a disastrous impact on your retirement. Now, Steve DeJohn and the DeJohn Advisory Team have been growing and protecting retirement accounts for years. Their product of choice, fixed indexed annuities. Now, these are not risky securities on Wall Street. They are insurance products with protection. If the market does well, so does your account. If the market does poorly, your account is protected. The DeJohn Advisory Team offers hundreds of products for your IRAs, 401ks, or any other retirement money. Call 866-515-6669 or visit retainyourgains.com and request their 10-minute DVD. Tell them Coach Ditka sent you. Call now and see which plan is right for you. 866-515-6669. That's 866-515-6669.
If you're looking for quality, affordable preschool services, consider Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Illinois. They offer comprehensive programs for 3-year-olds with flexible scheduling options for parents that include full or half-day alternatives. Each child receives structured activities in a safe and nurturing environment that promotes their academic, social, and spiritual growth. Hands-on projects and art activities are also provided to help youngsters develop their God-given creativity. Preschool students also receive a great deal of individualized instruction in the basics of reading readiness and the fundamentals of arithmetic. For more information or to schedule a tour of the Christian Liberty preschool facilities, call 847-385-2081 or visit ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. That's ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. Don't let another week go by before you get serious about finding the proper preschool for your child. The summer is slipping away and the preschool programs at Christian Liberty are filling up fast. So contact them today and give your child a great foundation for learning and for life. That's ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. The following is a paid political announcement.
Springfield has become a machine that has empowered and enriched a handful of career politicians at the expense of the hardworking men and women of Illinois. We can't continue to send politicians to Springfield and expect things to change. We need someone with courage, someone with principles, someone willing to take a stand and fight for the people of Illinois.
I'm Paul Sirwatka. As a father of 4, I have real concerns about the direction of our state and what the future holds for our children. Our representatives in Springfield have failed us. For decades now, they knew the issues we faced, and out of fear, neglect, or self-serving interest, they refused to make the critical decisions necessary to address them. As a former firefighter-paramedic, and in my service as a village trustee, I've proven my commitment to make the kinds of tough decisions needed to get Illinois out of the grips of the machine. This is our state. This is our home. Now is the time to take back Illinois.
Visit paulsirwatka.com and join the fight to take back our state. Paid for by Take Back Illinois with Paul Sirwatka.
Dan, you played the jazz flute, similar to what Ron Burgundy used to play.
I wish I would have learned to play an instrument as a child. It's one of my many life regrets, but alas, I did not.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Was that EPA spill 3 million gallons of toxic sludge out west in Colorado? Was it purposeful? We'll have that at 8:08.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, flags at half staff across the state of Illinois this morning. We'll tell you why. Former U of I Chancellor Wise resigns again. The Air and Water Show kicks off this weekend. The Bears beat the Dolphins in their first NFL preseason game. Clouds and sun this morning. WIND Chicago news time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
In Cuba, we face a proudly anti-American leadership who continues to work with nations like Russia and China to spy on our people and our government.
Republican Senator Marco Rubio, a son of Cuban immigrants, is no fan of reestablishing diplomatic ties as he runs for president.
The concessions to Iran and to Cuba both endanger our nation.
This ahead of the ceremony this morning to raise the American flag in Havana. Fox News Radio's Evan Brown live at the U.S. Embassy.
And Dave, that flag will go up, if on schedule, in about an hour here at the U.S. Embassy, the same building that was the embassy so long ago and served as the U.S. interest section in between. Ask anybody here and they'll tell you about their family in the U.S. and that they hope to be able to see them now that the U.S. and Cuba are trying to be friends again.
Sister de my mother.
Wow. You miss them?
Yeah, in my far away.
Eddie hasn't seen his mom or sister in 3 years. The streets here are closed off around the building, but thousands are lining the sidewalks like it's a parade, waving the flags of both countries, Dave.
Evan, more info is coming out in the most scrutinized messages from when Hillary Clinton used private email while Secretary of State. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
A discussion of a news article detailing a U.S. drone operation deemed top secret by an auditor found in one of the Democrat presidential hopeful's old emails. The AP reports there's also a separate conversation that could point back to highly classified material. Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina weighed in on the scandal on Fox.
Hillary Clinton has lied about Benghazi, about her emails, about her server.
The Washington Post reports the Clinton camp wiped her private server clean before they handed it over to the State Department. Dave.
Rachel, both Clinton and Fiorina will be campaigning in Iowa today. News on the economy. Wholesale inflation was tamed last month. Producer prices rose just 0.2%. Food cost less as egg prices that spiked over a bird flu outbreak dropped 24%. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Clouds and 73 degrees this morning. It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Flags across Illinois are at half-staff today, honoring a Chicago native killed during action in World War II. Governor Rauner's office asking that all U.S. and state flags be lowered in remembrance of 2nd Lieutenant Stephen Bezos until sunset this evening. The Department of Defense announced earlier this month his remains had been identified after going missing in the 1940s while serving with the U.S. Army Air Corps. Scheduled to be buried at Arlington National Cemetery later today. A high school in Wilk County will be closing. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voting last night to shut down Lincoln Way North High School in Frankfort.
We've been hearing rumors since January that they were going to close the school, and just disappointing.
The decision was made in order to help resolve a $5.5 million budget deficit. University of Illinois Chancellor Phyllis Wise says she'll submit her resignation for a second time and declined an appointment to an advisory role, reporting directly to President Timothy Killeen. Wise said in an email that she is now talking to lawyers about potential next steps. Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2. Kyle Schwarber hit 2 home runs and drove in 4. John Lester won his 4th straight decision. Ryan Tannehill picked apart a rebuilt Bears defense in the first half, throwing for a touchdown on the game's opening drive. But the Bears reserves beat the Dolphin reserves in the second half, and the Bears rally for a 27-10 win. Keeping our eyes on the PGA just up the coast at Whistling Straits, Dustin Johnson is your one-stroke leader as round 2 gets underway. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network this morning, here's Chris Honig.
From the Fox Business Network, the performance of markets for the week hinges on how Wall Street does today. Stocks have traded in a narrow range all week. In fact, stocks have traded in a narrow range all year. The Dow has never gone this far into August with a closing low and a closing high so close to one another. The S&P has only seen this happen once in 1993. Oil continues to slide, now approaching $41 a barrel. And we're awaiting word from the meeting of Eurozone finance ministers in Brussels. They're taking up Greece's bailout plan, which the Greek parliament approved this morning, just ahead of the Eurozone meeting. Online gaming company Amaya is moving into the fantasy sports business. Amaya, which owns the popular PokerStars platform, has bought Victive, which currently offers $15,000 jackpots for fantasy sports tournaments. The site will be rebranded as Stars Draft for a new U.S. launch. The purchase price has not been disclosed. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Chris Honig.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Money. It affects every part of your life. Whether it's saving for college for your kids, saving for retirement for yourself, or just finding a way to get out of debt. But do you really have a strategy to make the most of your money?
Someone tell people this is going to happen. It's called life.
Listen to The Dave Ramsey Show to learn practical tools for managing and growing your money.
You have to think.
Tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
You're not crazy to start your own business, no matter what they say. We're GoDaddy.com, and we're just the team to help get your business online. Our Get Online Today toolkit gets you a memorable domain name, a professional website, and personalized email powered by Microsoft Office 365 for just $1 per month. Just $1 with the purchase of an annual plan. Get your business online today with the Get Online Today toolkit at GoDaddy.com/radio. That's GoDaddy.com/radio. Domain included with annual plan only. See site for details.
Eating uncontrollably during a binge. Eating far more than others would in a similar situation. Eating and then feeling terrible. Binging at least weekly for 3 months. Sound familiar?
Hi, I'm Monica Seles. I got to achieve my Grand Slam title, but off the tennis court, my binge eating was just uncontrollable. My doctor said it was binge eating disorder. There is hope.
Adults, get the full symptoms at bingeeatingdisorder.com. Then talk with your doctor. Sponsored by Shire.
8:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest on your morning commute. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway is delay-free. Inbound Kennedy, slow Irving Park to the Burns Circle. In pockets, 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but clear in the Express. Outbound, 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, delay start at Costner. It's just 31 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 32. Inbound Stevenson, there's a 2-minute delay Cicero to Kedzie. Outbound, it's fine. Farther south, northbound 55 is heavy approaching Weber Road with a stalled truck on the right side. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the northbound tri-state, it's slow Dixie Highway to I-80, where the exit ramp to westbound 80 is blocked with a crash, and the tri-state's heavy at 290. Eastbound Adams Tollway, heavy 280 to Lee. Westbound after Higgins, there's road work in the right lane. Traffic service of Cabela's. Cabela's Fall Great Outdoor Days are going on now. Spend $150, get $25 in Cabela's bucks, good towards your next purchase. See store for details. Don't miss their biggest sale and event of the season, going on now at Cabela's. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast, a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
More humid today with clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 90. An evening shower or thunderstorm in spots, otherwise partly cloudy and humid tonight with a low 70. Hot and humid tomorrow with partial sunshine, high 90 and a low 71. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
73 at O'Hare, cloudy skies. 75 along the lakefront, 76 at Midway. Your next news update is at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the New American Funding Show, walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
To the race for president now, which for the next 10 days is turning Iowa into the center of the political universe. Nearly every candidate is scheduled to appear at the state fair there, and the ones getting some of the biggest buzz hail from far outside the Beltway.
And welcome to the first day of the Iowa State Fair.
Trump is just entertaining as hell, and he comes in and he acts like he's just gonna, be a wrecking ball to government as usual.
I think people are just tired of not getting anything done in Washington.
When liberals say, I'm prepared for you to lose your job in the name of sending a signal to whom? China could care less. In fact, China is delighted that we are not spending any time or energy figuring out clean coal because they're going to go do it.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
What up, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So, Amy, I am not one for conspiracy theories.
No, you're not. And every time I have one, you shoot it down right away.
Well, I think they're kind of fodder for...
What? Oh, be nice. Okay.
I'll just say I'm not a fan of conspiracy theories, but sometimes
Yes.
Sometimes there's evidence to suggest things are not what they appear to be. This is fascinating. So we're talking about the EPA spill, the Animas River in Colorado, 3 million gallons of toxic sludge.
And what did I call it earlier?
What did you call it earlier?
I called it the toxic soup of metals.
Wow. What a rhetorical
I
flourish.
mean, really, I should stop while I'm ahead.
Bowl me over with a feather. Oh, goodness. Well, it turns out a week before the spill occurred, a retired geologist of 47 years penned a letter to the editor in the local paper, the Silverton Standard.
I love that read.
Yeah, I let my subscription run out. I'm sorry I did. Otherwise, I would have had the heads up on this. And the question is, did the EPA contaminate the Animas River, allow the 3 million gallons to despoil the river purposefully?
What?
This is Dave Taylor, 47-year geologist, writing in the Silverton Standard. Dave Taylor's from Farmington, New Mexico. And he writes, I came to Silverton this summer to enjoy my retirement, appreciate nature, and prospect the mountains for unique minerals. Dave Taylor is a kind of a mineral guy. I get it. Stone guy. I came here to enjoy a simple life with no TV and no politics, but unfortunately that has changed. Your EPA dilemma has caused my blood to boil. Remember, this is a week before the spill. Okay. Based on my 47 years of experience as a professional geologist, it appears to me that the EPA is setting your town and the area up for a possible Superfund blitzkrieg. Here's the scenario that will occur based on my experience. Following the plugging, the exfiltrating water will be retained behind the bulkheads, accumulating at a rate of approximately 500 gallons per minute. As the water backs up, it will begin filling all the connected mine workings and bedrock voids and fractures. As the water level inside the workings continues to rise, it will accumulate head pressure at a rate of 1 psi per each 2.31 feet of vertical rise, which is exactly what I predicted, you'll recall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly.
The numbers, we were right on the same page.
You're spot on, really.
Yeah. As the water continues to migrate through and fill interconnected workings, the pressure will increase. Eventually, without a doubt, the water will find a way out and will exfiltrate uncontrollably through connected abandoned shafts, drifts, raises, fractures, and possibly from talus on the hillsides. Initially, it will appear that the miracle fix is working, but make no mistake, within 7 to 120 days, all of the 500 gallons per minute flow will return to the cement creek. Contamination may actually increase due to disturbance and flushing action within the working. So this is all very technical, but he's a technical guy. He's a professional geologist. He's predicting what is going to happen, what the EPA is doing. And he said the grand experiment will fail, and then guess what the EPA will do? They'll say, well, Plan A didn't work, so we'll have to build a treatment plant at a cost of taxpayers of $100 to $500 million. Who knows?
Oh, my God.
Reading between the lines, he writes, I believe this has been the EPA's plan all along. With a budget of $8.2 billion and 17,000 employees, the EPA needs new big projects to feed the beast and justify their existence. I would recommend that anyone who owns a home, property, water, well, or spring in the Cement Creek drainage take water samples ASAP to protect themselves from groundwater changes that may be caused by the EPA plugging operation. A week before the EPA spill, it turns out the EPA has been pushing, to Mr. Taylor's point, the EPA has been pushing for nearly 25 years to apply its Superfund program to the Gold King mine. See, if a leak occurs, the EPA would then receive Superfund status, and that's exactly what happened. And you'll understand, and just to kind of connect these dots, to kind of explain this, the Superfund program that the EPA runs is essentially a trust fund of sorts. They can compel parties to clean up toxic waste sites. And remember, this mine has been dormant for 90 years.
Yeah, since 1924.
So they can do that, or they can clean it up themselves and impose costs on those they believe are responsible for the hazardous material being there, so they can impose the cleanup costs on others. So a way to not only justify the Superfund program and, as Mr. Taylor writes, to feed the beast, but also to go after parties that they deem responsible, to hold them accountable, to also feed the beast. So it's not just taxpayer expense. Let's build a big new facility. Let's have a big new project. It's also, we'll cost shift it onto an unknowing third party when this all breaks bad. Purposeful spill by the EPA. Is that possible?
312-642-5600. Is that why, by chance, I mean, they didn't alert city officials and the governor of New Mexico, governor of Colorado, until almost 12 hours after the leak started? I mean, that's fraudulent. That's negligent behavior.
Right. And understand the Superfund designation is really important if you're going to kind of spin this conspiracy theory. The important point is the difference between the authority to address hazardous substances and pollutants is that the cleanup of pollutants or contaminants which are not hazardous substance cannot be compelled by unilateral administrative order. So they have to have this catastrophe in order to get the Superfund designation, in order for all of those other things that we've just mentioned to follow.
You might be onto something.
Well, apparently Dave Taylor, this retired geologist, was onto something. And, again, lone voice in the wilderness, people should have listened to him, not just published his letter. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Listen, first of all, that's government's role, is to create. It's a conundrum that's always creating another conundrum that leads you to a room where they have more power and more control and more money. But my beef is with you right now. How could you say you don't believe in conspiracies? Everything is a conspiracy. You just choose to take that word and make it negative. 560 conspired to have the greatest morning show, so they hired you and re-upped Amy, and it worked. Every business meeting is a conspiracy. I conspire with my wife to have a family, to succeed in life. Everything is a conspiracy. To think that people can't do that negative to use a catalyst to create a need is to deny politics itself. That is politics. We need nothing from them. They pick out these little conundrums, these little tiny things that tell you how much they need them, which is how we hire these failures who've achieved nothing in life, and all of a sudden they have all the answers. That is government.
Thank you for the call, Sean from Elmwood Park.
And stuck in the middle of this.
Proud conspiracy theorist.
The victims are the people who live in parts of Colorado on that Indian reservation because they still can't use the water. They can't drink it. They're not supposed to touch it. There's still a state of emergency. You can't go near the water, and you can't use it for irrigation.
Well,
so the farmers are, what?
Sean is right, and he recalls Groucho Marx, and of course, Sean and Groucho Marx have a lot in common. Sean was his understudy in Duck Soup, I believe, but he's right about government. And Groucho Marx essentially said, government creates problems and then misapplies the wrong remedies, and that seems to be what we have going on in Colorado.
Oh, no. Aliens, bioduplication, nude conspiracies. Oh, my God. Lyndon LaRouche was right.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cloudy skies right now, hot and humid out there. We'll be going up to a high of 90 degrees today. We can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. Then tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. And on Saturday for the Crosstown Classic or the Arlington Million or the Air and Water Show, it's going to be hot. Partly sunny skies, a high near 90, and more of the same on Sunday. Let's get the travel times. It seems that they're not too bad this Friday morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's been really light, Amy. Been really nice, but that may be changing. With all the events you mentioned, it's going to be a sticky traffic weekend, and now people are coming in on the inbound Kennedy. The delays are intensifying between Irving Park and downtown. And the travel time has jumped. It's now 41 minutes from O'Hare to the Burns Circle, 31 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. The Ohio feeder is backed up as well. Outbound, just a 6-minute delay, Montrose to Sayre. The Edens has a 2-minute outbound delay, Dempster to Old Orchard. Inbound, it's fine. The Ike, just 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, and outbound the same. Stevenson, you've got a 2-minute delay, Cicero to Kedzie. Outbound, it's clear. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, a little slow in both directions, approaching Flossmoor Road. There's an earlier truck trailer on fire. Adams Tollway eastbound, slow Toohey to Lee. Westbound, slow past Barrington Road, some work in the right lane. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Oh, it's so sticky.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call David Hochberg, Vice President of Pearl Mortgage. Tammy, 2-term Afghanistan war vet, 2 sons, credit score 498, called to secure a VA loan. Tammy had no shot at purchasing a home at this time. So David introduced Tammy to his bankruptcy team at Debt Stoppers, who are helping her eliminate collections totaling $16,000. Then he introduced her to Margie at First Midwest Bank, who's helping her rebuild her credit with a CD loan. David will follow up with Tammy every 4 months over the next 2 years to ensure she's following his credit enhancement plan so he can help her secure a VA loan. If you've gone through economic challenges like Tammy and want to be put on the program so you can purchase or refinance in the future, call David now at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. You can also email him at david@perldavid.com. Visit his website, am560david.com. That website, am560david.com. David's helped thousands of AM560 listeners, and he'll help you. Call David now, 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com/licensing.
At LifeQuotes.com, we've solved the worst problem there is with buying life insurance, the medical exam. At LifeQuotes.com, you can instantly compare the rates of 50 leading life insurance companies and buy online from the company of your choice. For example, a healthy male, age 30, can now apply for $400,000 of high-quality, no-exam term life insurance for less than $35 per month. Females pay even less. LifeQuotes.com is online, private, and convenient. Want more good news? Life insurance rates are now at all-time lows. At LifeQuotes.com, we make it easy to search the life insurance market in seconds, view the lowest possible rates, and apply online to the company of your choice. Visit LifeQuotes.com today to see how much you could save. Plan availability varies by state. LifeQuotes.com, or call us at 1-800-640-LIFE. That's 1-800-640-LIFE.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-433-7114. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-433-7114. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-433-7114. That's 1-800-433-7114.
The sounds of an accident. You or a loved one has been injured. Your mind is racing. What happened? Is everyone okay? What now?
I'm Dan Compton of Compton Law Group. We know that at a time like this, you want answers. More importantly, you want justice for what has taken place. If you or a loved one has been injured, please, before you sign something or talk to anyone, call Compton Law Group. This is our specialty, fighting for your rights, fighting for you, and making sure that justice is served. You can reach me at 847-742-6100. That's 847-742-6100. It's my job to make sure that you, your family, and your loved ones are protected and compensated properly. We handle nursing home accidents, car, truck, and motorcycle accidents, construction accidents, and medical malpractice.
When accidents happen, and they will happen, make sure you have Compton Law Group on your side. 847-742-6100 or online at ComptonLawGroup.net. When accidents happen, take the appropriate action with Compton Law Group.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah. What song is this?
Tolerance. Respect for religious freedom.
The song is
called... Of course, those things won't be in the crosshairs when we redefine marriage. We'll impose it through judicial fiat. Of course not. And
Dan, just real quick, the song is called Cut the Cake. Kind of apropos for our conversation.
I got it, yeah. I connected those dots. Colorado Court of Appeals decided with a gay couple in the fight over a wedding cake, saying the baker cannot cite religious beliefs in refusing service. This is why there's a movement afoot, legislation at the federal level to protect religious freedom. Again, like the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act that President Clinton signed 20 years ago. Lakewood baker Jack Phillips, who owns Masterpiece Cake Shop, refused to make a wedding cake for Charlie Craig and David Mullins in 2012, saying it was against his religious beliefs. A couple married in Massachusetts, planned to celebrate in Colorado. He wouldn't make the cake, so they didn't go to another cake shop, of course. They sued because it's about the imposition of orthodoxy, not about getting a cake. And the the Court of Appeals sided with the gay couple. Mr. Phillips said, I think that the ruling is wrong. The Constitution guarantees me the right to practice my faith, my religion, anywhere, anytime. There are no restrictions on it. It also gives me the right to free speech anytime, anywhere. I don't surrender those rights when I open my door. The Colorado Court of Appeals disagrees. They and Phillips' lawyer says she is going to file the case with the state Supreme Court next month. They're willing to take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court if need be. Good luck with Anthony Kennedy. Phillips' lawyer said this. I thought she makes a very good point here. Today's ruling means that Colorado citizens have a First Amendment right to believe whatever they want, and if those citizens hold the government-approved views on same-sex marriage, they are entitled to act on those beliefs without fear of punishment. But for citizens like Jack Phillips, the court has created a novel exception to the First Amendment. You are entitled to believe, but you are not entitled to act on those beliefs. You are not free if your beliefs are confined to your mind. What makes America unique is our freedom to peacefully live out these beliefs. Not in Colorado.
Yeah, religious
not in America
freedom,
redefined.
Religious freedom is under attack. And, Phillips has maintained, and he told the judge this, that he has no problem serving gay people at his store when they come in. He doesn't care about that. But that making a wedding cake for a same-sex wedding would violate his Christian beliefs. And where are his rights? I mean, if the gays have rights, if the gays have rights, can't he have rights as well?
Looky here. Who would have predicted that religiosity, faith in the public square, or frankly in a private business, would be torn asunder when you redefine marriage? Who would have predicted that? I guess me and everybody else who understood the implications of redefining traditional marriage out of existence.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory, software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
I wish this bag under my eye would just go away. Hey, if that sounds like you every morning, you are not alone. Bags and puffiness under the eyes are a problem for millions of American men and women until now. Introducing the new Genucell serum with plant stem cell technology from Chamonix. The stem cell technology comes from a Swiss apple. Susan wrote, I've been using Genucell for a couple of months. The puffiness around my eyes is gone. Even the crow's feet and small lines have disappeared and haven't come back. I love your product. I use it under my eyes, around my cheekbones, and on my eyelids. I use it too, and I love it. And with its instant effects, you'll see results in the first 12 hours or your money back. So call now and save big on Genucell's risk-free introductory offer. Call 800-525-8323, 800-525-8323. Call now, and you'll get the amazing Esotique face cream as a special gift simply by placing your order. That number again, 800-525-8323, 800-525-8323.
AM 560, The Answer.
Phyllis Weiss, apparently she resigned again. We'll get the latest details from the news editor at the Daily Illini, Abigail Svoboda.
Yeah, it's difficult to dismiss her when she keeps resigning.
What if I do it this way?
And then why you should ride a bike for the vets rather than sit on your rear end and watch the Jets this weekend. Jack Shepard from On a Ride joins us at 8:45.
Nice. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, some of the 700 injured in that monstrous explosion in China are John Deere employees. The farm implement company based in the Quad Cities has a facility in the Chinese city of Tianjin John Deere spokesman says some employees are in critical condition this morning. Republicans hoping to become the next U.S. president making their voices heard at the Iowa State Fair. It opened up yesterday with Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee first to deliver on his soapbox.
If for some crazy reason you are not going to vote for me in the caucuses, for God's sake, stay home that night where it's warm and do not leave your home. Thank you, folks.
And former Florida Governor Jeb Bush will be on the soapbox at the fair later this morning. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Havana, Cuba, where he will oversee the raising of the U.S. flag over the American embassy for the first time in more than a half century. Officials at Ohio's Cedar Point amusement park say their thoughts and prayers are going out to a family of a man killed yesterday by a coaster. Police in Sandusky say James Young had just finished riding the Raptor when he went back into a restricted area to retrieve a cell phone that he had dropped. Police say Young entered that fenced-in area illegally and was struck by the ride. A mediator being brought in as negotiations stall between the Chicago Public Schools and the teachers' union for a new contract. Mediation is a step, of course, that is needed before any strike can take place. A high school in Will County will be closing. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voting last night to shut down one of the newer schools in the district, Lincoln Way North, after the upcoming school year to try and erase a $5.5 million budget deficit. And the Illinois Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in November on Chicago's year-old pension law. Orders entered Thursday set an expedited schedule with briefs due over the next 3 months. The DuSable Museum of African American History here in Chicago opening a major exhibit examining key periods in the African American experience. It's called Freedom, Resistance, and the Journey Towards Equality. It starts with the transatlantic slave trade. It opens up August 28th with about 200 objects that include leg irons and a 1936 journal of a cotton plantation owner, and then a 1963 program from the March on Washington. Cubs over Milwaukee 9-2. In the first half, the Dolphins and Ryan Tannehill picked apart the rebuilt Bears defense. In the second half, the Bears returned the favor to the tune of a 27-10 preseason win over the Fish. The news service of Teach in the Ad Council. So many of you thought about becoming teachers when you were little. Well, it's time to put it back on your list. Innovative things are happening in teaching today. Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. 8:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hi, Mike Gallagher. This year, be part of something bigger than yourself and stand with Israel. Every once in a while, an opportunity to do something truly special comes along. A chance to experience something you've never experienced before and may never again. Spend 9 days this fall in the Holy Land with me and Genesis Tours. We'll enjoy safe first-class accommodations and a world-class experience in Israel. For all the trip details and to register, go to my website, mikeonline.com. Click on the Stand with Israel banner and join us for this amazing journey to Israel.
Buffalo Wild Wings just got more obsessed with beer. They're rolling out specials like the Oktoberfest Beard Cheese Dippers, made with special Sam Adams Oktoberfest Cheddar Dip. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
The legendary Wheaton All-Night Flea Market presents the iconic Addams Family TV stars. Tomorrow night, August 15th, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. at DuPage County Fairgrounds by Zirco Promotions.
We gave Tom 12 seconds to give 6 reasons why he opened a Mathnasium Learning Center franchise.
Okay. Great income potential. Doing good for kids. Doing what I love. Making math make sense to kids. 500 centers open already. 1 every 3 days. Mathnasium taught me the business. Helps me. Supports me.
Time's up. Pretty good. For franchise information, visit mathnasium.com or take the first step right now. Call 855-354-MATH. That's 855-354-6284.
It is 8:34. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. People are coming into the city via the inbound Kennedy. It's stop and go from Montrose to Ohio. 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 27 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. The Ohio feeder is heavy. Outbound, there's just a 4-minute delay from Lawrence to Sayre. Edens is fine. Inbound Eisenhower, just a little bit slow from Costner to around Independence. There's just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Outbound, little heavy Harlem to First Avenue. Inbound Stevenson has a 2-minute delay Cicero to Cudsey. Outbound, it's fine. Inbound Ryan, 6-minute delay from 31st into the Circle. Outbound, it's fine. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, traffic is slow from Chewy to Lee. Westbound stop and go Barrington to past Higgins with roadwork in the right lane. Northbound Tri-State, slow Halstead to I-80 after an earlier crash, then it's heavy at 290. The other tollway's good. No delays to report in northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny, breezy, warm this afternoon. We'll top out at 86. Those clouds really are sticking around this morning, however, and humidities are high, and we could see a thunderstorm erupt later this afternoon. We'll keep our eyes on that. Partly cloudy. 69 overnight, 88 tomorrow, more humid with clouds and sunshine. 69 tomorrow night. Saturday, warm and plenty of sunshine, high 89. Currently 73 at O'Hare, 75 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by LifeQuotes.com. Compare the rates of up to 50 life insurers in seconds and buy online today, many without a medical exam.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So Phyllis Wise is making it difficult to dismiss her because she keeps resigning. She's resigned yet again, so it's being reported. This is the U of I chancellor. Resigned ahead of what appeared to be scandal involving her use of private email.
Oh, no.
Along with other administrators, rather than the U of I email system, so as to avoid disclosure, to avoid scrutiny, to avoid having to turn over emails consistent with Freedom of Information Act requests.
So she's pulling
Where
a
have we heard
Clinton.
this before?
Yeah.
Yes, right. It's, I think her private server is in New Jersey, too. So Abigail Svoboda is the news editor at the Daily Illini. She's got her pulse on the beat of what's going on at campus, and she joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Abigail. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So how's the reaction been to this story about Phyllis Wise, her private email, her $400,000 golden parachute that was rescinded? She resigned. She was going to get a professorship. She was going to be dismissed. She resigned again. Quite a bit of a soap opera down there.
Yeah, it's been very tumultuous, and I think people were pretty shocked when she resigned originally, and then kind of explained itself when the emails came out Friday. It's still disappointing that it was even a situation that the university was put in, but
as a student at the University of Illinois, are you surprised how much the chancellors make and how much your professors are making and what they're asking for as they're exiting?
Yeah, it is a lot, and it's interesting that almost every Board of Trustees meeting or administrative meeting you attend, they talk about budget issues and the state of Illinois' economy, but then we still have administrators making such high salaries and big severance packages and bonuses.
Yeah, well,
but it's a tough job.
Welcome to the state of Illinois. The University of Illinois is just an example of what's going on in the state in terms of our political culture. And so, are people actually taking time away from keg parties to pay attention to this story on campus? Are you getting student reaction?
I think some students are surprised. A lot of students probably aren't fully aware of what's going on or why it's such a big deal.
And is there any sense from your coverage on campus that this is not going to be limited to Phyllis Wise? Because it certainly wasn't. She certainly was not the only one that was apparently using a private email account for university-related communications.
Right. We've been told that any other changes would be made within the faculty, but so far everyone who I've worked with who was also included in the emails has just continued to do their job. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks if we have any more resignations.
Has there been any announcement of any policy change about using private email accounts for university-related business by these administrators?
When the emails were released on Friday, they mentioned policy changes that would be initiated immediately, but I've yet to, it was always you were supposed to use your Illinois email address for any university communications, so I think they're just going to try to enforce that more and provide more training sessions on what the Freedom of Information Act is and why you need to abide by those rules.
Abigail, were you able to read any of Phyllis Weiss's emails that she sent on her personal server?
Yeah, you know what? I combed through there was about 1,000 pages released, and I skimmed through all of them just to make sure I didn't miss anything big. And they were interesting. It was pretty clear that she thought what she was doing was best for the university, but still a lot of acknowledgement that they should have been using their school accounts, and they knew kind of what was going on and that they were trying to hide something. So.
Yeah, that's a problem. Now, on any of the emails released, did they include correspondence between Professor Kilgore and the Sudanese Liberation Army terrorist organization that he used to be affiliated with? Did we get any of those?
There were emails about Professor Kilgore, but I do not believe that he was involved in any of the emails.
Right. And what about one of the statements that came out of Phyllis Wise's emails that was rather interesting was she referred to the U of I as "this place is a mess." What was the context of that, and what mess was she referring to other than her own?
I believe there was a lot of discussion about the College of Medicine and Stephen Salada's dismissal, as well as James Kilgore's, that I think it was just a lot to deal with, and the university was very divided throughout the whole school year about those three issues. And the Champaign-Urbana campus was really divided about Kilgore and Salada, and all three campuses had their own opinions on the College of Medicine. Chicago wanted their own College of Medicine, and Urbana wanted its own. So I think all of that probably contributed to her statement.
So Phyllis Weiss criticized the board's decision to reject her first resignation. She's going to be submitting a second resignation. When is this going to end?
I don't know. Spokesman Thomas Hardy said that they would review her statement and decide where to go from there. So I don't fully know the extent of university statutes and how those play into what, if she can resign again and firing procedures. But I would think they'd want to end this as quickly as possible and move on.
Do you think this will spur a rash of resignations from other people doing a terrible job, like John Gross, the basketball coach, maybe? I'm just kidding. So, Abigail, do you want to get into journalism when you get out of the Daily Illini and the U of I? Is that your hope?
Well, I'm actually a communications major, so right now my goal is crisis management.
You've got a crisis to manage here.
Maybe you should submit a proposal. Maybe Phyllis Wise will put her on an RFP, and you could submit a proposal, and that could be your first client.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'd be funny. But, yeah, I do love journalism, so.
All right. Well, Abigail Svoboda, news editor at the Daily Illini, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
When is it going to end?
Blowing away the competition with the latest news and what it means for you. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some thick cloud coverage right now. We do have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Then maybe by this afternoon, the sun will come out. It's going to be hot and humid, though, regardless. A high of 90 degrees tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. And Saturday for the Arlington Million, or if you're going to the Air and Water Show or the Crosstown Classic at the Cell, you're going to have a great day, but it's going to be hot. Partly sunny skies, humid around 90 degrees, and more of the same on Sunday, but a little warmer, a high of 91. Travel times are not hot and sticky this morning, are they, Jim Telemonte?
For the most part, it's pretty good, Amy, but the inbound Kennedy is getting heavier, and we're expecting things to get heavier as the day wears along. A lot of weekend travelers will be out and about. Folks will be heading back to school soon, so a lot of weekend travel is on tap in addition to all those weekend events. And the Kennedy now is pretty slow going from Montrose to Ohio. That's where the delays are. It's 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes will save you 5 minutes. Outbound, just a 4-minute delay from Lawrence to Sayre. The Edens is clear, and the Eisenhower is not bad. Just 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30. The Stevenson has just a 2-minute delay from Cicero to Kedzie. The Rye now about a 7-minute delay from 35th into the Loop. Tollways are pretty light light. There is a delay on the eastbound Adams Tollway from Toohey to Lee and westbound Barrington to past Higgins with some construction in the right lane. Northwest Indiana's fine for now. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
With ChicagoRadioDeals.com, seeing is believing, and you have to see the deal from Vision One LASIK Center. Get LASIK surgery on both eyes at their state-of-the-art center in Lombard for only $1,900. This is a $3,800 value. Start with a consultation at any of the Vision One LASIK centers in Arlington Heights, Chicago, or Lombard. Vision One is a private practice with LASIK specialists Dr. Brand, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Berger. Hey, are you ready for this hot deal? Bikram Yoga of Rolling Meadows, get this, has a 10-class package at their beautiful studios on Hicks Road. Bikram Yoga, as you know, is a series of 26 yoga postures, 2 breathing exercises. It's taught in a 90-minute class in a 105-degree setting. This package retails for $130. It's only $10 at CRD. I know it's a great place, beautiful studios. I was there 2 weeks ago. Dan's going today. CRD.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, okay. CRD features fabulous deals for skincare like microdermabrasion from Hannah Facial Cosmetic Surgery of Hinsdale, or for the best in relaxation. Experience spa treatments.
I told you I need my Lululemon pants for both.
Experience spa treatments at the Salt Caves in LaGrange. Now, all of this and more can be found only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
No one ever imagines facing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia and needing full-time care, but it happens. And deciding on the right residential care for mom or dad can be a monumental task. There is a memory care community that focuses on helping your parent or loved one with dementia light up and live life to the fullest, making them feel like family. Autumn Leaves memory care communities see past the diagnosis to the person you know, that your dad was a fantastic cook, or that your mom loved to dance. A person who deserves so much more than being just an Alzheimer's patient. Whether it's through yoga and music therapy or simply by cooking them their favorite meal, Autumn Leaves strives to stimulate their minds and bodies to respect and nurture the person you care so much about. See for yourself the difference Autumn Leaves communities can mean for your family. Autumn Leaves, dedicated solely to the unique needs of memory care patients.
Autumn Leaves has 10 locations in the Chicagoland area offering day-stay respite and assisted living programs. Call 888-662-8886 or visit autumnleaves.com.
If the battery pack in your hybrid fails, that can be a huge unexpected expense. Dan Proft here for Midwest Performance Cars. In addition to complete maintenance and repair of European automobiles, Midwest Performance Cars is a certified hybrid shop location. Their technicians have undergone extensive training and can test and recondition your Toyota or Honda hybrid battery pack at a price hundreds less than your dealer. MPC can also perform a comprehensive pre-purchase inspection on hybrid vehicles and provide an accurate assessment of the health of your hybrid battery pack. The longevity of battery packs is a known drawback of a hybrid vehicle. Midwest Performance Cars offers an exclusive technology that can restore your battery to over 95% of its original performance. Take your hybrid to the dealership with a check engine light and they'll probably tell you that you need a new battery, costing you $3,000 to $5,000. With MPC's battery conditioning technology, you could potentially save up to 50%, keeping thousands of dollars in your pocket. They're located in Chicago's West Loop at the corner of Lake and Ogden. Free Lyft and Uber shuttle service available. Online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com. Midwest Performance Cars, the dealer alternative, an expert source for European auto maintenance and repair.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Dan, you're a cyclist, right? But you ride on a stationary bike?
I ride stationary bikes only. Because I respect cars.
The tricycle with your little flag up?
Yeah, and I don't, and I don't...
The basket and the bell.
And I don't pretend I'm Greg LeMond. I got the whole outfit and the aerodynamic helmet and all that silliness.
There's a purpose for that. If you're a serious cyclist, I have one of those superhuman costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, costume. Exactly. Costume is
it
the
helps
appropriate.
with chafing. It's a smart way to go.
I'm also opposed to blood doping, which I know you also do when you cycle. And so, look, I always ride clean. That's why I stick to the stationary bike. But there's a lot of things to do this weekend.
Yes.
Right?
We have the Air and Water Show. We have the Crosstown Classic. Cubs Sox at the Cell. You're going to that game, right?
Arlington Million. You got the PGA Championship. So I can be sitting on my arse watching golf, watching baseball, watching the Jets But our next guest tells me and us that we should be out riding for the vets. He is Jack Shepard from Ride to Recovery, and this Sunday is the Honor Ride in Barrington. Jack Shepard, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Good. So with all those things that I could do that require no exertion whatsoever, why should I not be drinking and smoking and stuffing my face and watching other people do stuff? Why should I come out Sunday and ride a bike in Barrington?
Why not come out and ride a bike and save someone's life by doing it?
Oh, now you just made me feel bad. God, oh, jeez. Man, gosh. Gee, fine, Jack.
Get off that
Gosh.
stationary bike, man. Get off the stationary bike.
Can I have, are there bikes that are equipped with sidecars where I could just ride along and have someone else do the work?
We could probably put you on the handlebars, maybe.
All right, that's good. So give us the background on what Ride to Recovery does and the ride that's happening on Sunday.
Sure, absolutely. We basically we save lives by restoring hope and purpose. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. We use cycling as a means of mental and physical therapy for injured veterans. We do these rides all over the country, and this coming Sunday we have one in Barrington. It's going to be a great event. I'm actually standing here with one of the organizers, Colleen Konachek.
Hello, Dan and Amy.
Oh,
Hi,
there
Colleen.
she is. Wow.
So, Colleen, how long is this
conference
ride?
call.
And is it too late to sign up? What can we do?
Oh, not too late to sign up. We've got registration tomorrow from 10 to 12 in Barrington at 133 Park Street. And you can also register the day of at Citizens Park starting at 6 a.m. We have a 20, 30, and 50-mile bike ride, and we have a 5K and a 10K through beautiful Cuba Marsh. So it's worth coming out for. There's fun for the whole family. There's a kids event with a bike ride and helmet fittings. We've got a food truck coming out, bands playing. So it's a good day, and a good day to support our veterans and tell them how much we respect and care about the sacrifices they've made on our behalf.
And this is right there in downtown Barrington, that's where the race launches from?
It launches from Citizens Park, which is one of our Park District locations just outside of downtown Barrington.
And as part of this ride, and as well as the walk and the run, you actually have injured veterans that participate too. So people kind of interacting with those who have served.
We absolutely do, yes.
So Ride to Recovery started in 2008, and how did it begin?
It started actually when a physical therapist from Palo Alto, VA, got in touch with our founder, John Wharton, and asked him to put together a cycling program for one of his patients who was an injured vet. And he really thought that the cycling aspect of the therapy could help this person. And so our founder, John Warden, did that, and the program just exploded. And we've now given away probably over 10,000 regular upright bikes, and I believe we've modified about 500 many different forms of bikes, whether it's a recumbent or a hand cycle, to fit a specific injury.
And how many people did to come out for these honor rides, like the one in Barrington that's been going on for a few years now?
We're expecting about 250 cyclists on this one. The money raised goes to support local programs such as Project Hero, and I happen to be standing next to one of the local Chicago Project Hero managers, Chris Erickson.
How serendipitous.
Chris?
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. How you doing today?
Hello.
Pass the torch.
Yes.
Pass the phone. So how many injured veterans or recovering veterans are going to be in the ride this weekend?
Probably about a third of those who will be riding will be vets of recovering from one injury or another, whether it be physical or mental.
So if we don't ride, we can go and cheer them on?
Absolutely.
We actually ask that you do come out and wave your flags. We pass out cue sheets so that people in the area know where the ride is coming through, and we want people to go out and wave their flags and show their pride and their thanks to these men and women who serve.
And you can also do kind of the rolling hills of Barrington Hills. You can look at all the homes you wish you lived in. So that's another aspect of it. Well, Jack Shepard, Honor Ride Operations Director, and the whole crew over there. Again, just repeat the details in terms of registration tomorrow, registration Sunday, the time, so that if people want to participate, they can get the necessary information?
Sure. The registration tomorrow is from 10 to 12 at 133 Park Avenue in Barrington at Barrington Running Company. And it is on Sunday starting at 6 a.m. at Citizens Park. The cyclist will go off at 7:15, so you've got a good hour or so to register in between that.
All right. And for more information, there's a website or somewhere people can go?
Correct. Our website is Ride to Recovery. That's the number 2, the letters, ride, the number 2, recovery.com. Search Honor Ride in that website, or you can just go to honorridebarrington.com.
All right. Jack Shepard, Honor Ride Operations Director, Ride to Recovery, ride to, the number 2, recovery.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Good luck with the ride Sunday.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Kenny.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine buying a house and getting a second one for free, or purchasing the new car of your dreams and receiving a second identical car free. Okay, maybe a free second MyPillow isn't as dramatic, but sleeping well and waking up energized is pretty important. I've been telling you for a while now, I get my best sleep ever with MyPillow. With the buy one, get one offer, you can basically get and give the gift of a great night's sleep. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, all types of ailments. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, use the promo code Amy. Plus, you can get 50% off those pillow toppers and other products. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Remember to use the promo code Amy. Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. 800-489-0201.
When flipping houses, there's one golden rule. Cash talks. I'm going to show you how you can easily get $10,000 plus all the cash you'll ever need for free. I'm Andrew Holmes, popular radio show host and founder of Chicago's #1 flipping team. And I've flipped over 600 houses in Chicago right under your nose. And now I'm going to show you how. I'm holding a free seminar right here in the Chicagoland area where I'll give a select few the opportunity to use my funding to flip houses and net up to $40,000 per deal without spending a dime of your own money. You don't need good credit and you don't need any of your own money. If the deal is good, you'll get the funds. The first 100 people to call 844-MONEY40 and register will receive my Blueprint to Real Estate Wealth System for free. All you have to do is find a great deal and pass it on to me and I'll give you $10,000. Time is running out. Seating is very limited. Call 844-MONEY40. That's 844-MONEY40.
To all commercial and industrial property owners, building managers, and roof consultants in Chicagoland, Waukegan Roofing says thank you. The Waukegan Roofing team knows you have a lot of choices when it comes to choosing a commercial and industrial roofing contractor. Navigating those options can be overwhelming because choosing a roofer you can trust is a big decision. For more than 100 years, Waukegan Roofing has been installing roofs you can rely on all over Chicagoland, and they couldn't have done it without you. It's because of your continued trust and support that they have become one of the oldest, most trusted contractors in the Chicagoland area. And for that, they thank you, Chicago. So if your building has an old roof in need of repair or replacement, or if you need a service and maintenance program to keep your roof performing at its peak level, Waukegan Roofing is ready to put their 100-plus years of experience to work for you. Let them protect you for the next 100 years. Call today at 847-623-1625 or visit WaukeganRoofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, 101 years installing roofs you can rely on. Thank you, Chicago.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean, without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack, when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And if saving money and a clean shave isn't incentive enough, Harry's will give you their starter set, complete with a razor, 3 of their world-famous blades, and shaving cream for just $15. And shipping is always free. We'll also give you $5 off your first order. Our way of saying thank you for trying us. How are we able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures them. That's how. So go to harrys.com right now and enter code 4444 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4444.
Our thanks to David Stripling, the technical director, and Cesar Perez.
And Abico.
Shake and bake.
We will be back here on Monday morning at 5 a.m. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Now let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a former U of I Chancellor, Wise, resigns again, and a board votes to close a Lincoln Way school. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. They're celebrating change in Cuba. A ceremony will soon start with Secretary